This is CES MMA.
My heart's racing and I'm ready. I'm throwing my fist cause my pace will leave you sweaty. And knowing you miss, my knots cut like a machete. It's blowing the kids, your rock seeing no confetti. In your vision and issue, your lips swelling and they're bleeding. You never felt defeating as I wanted to shout to please a demon I'm beating. He's always eating. Smack, crack, blood and heavy breathing. Chewing on my fists like back when you were teething.
Featuring tonight's main event, Dave Batista versus Vince Lucero.
Hey fight fans, this is Pat Sullivan here for CES MMA. Welcome to the rebroadcast of CES 13 from all the way back in 2012. Before we get into the fights, most importantly on behalf of my family, the CES family, and the fighting community, we want to wish to you and your family and loved ones all the safety in the world. With everything going on right now, we hope you're staying safe, staying healthy, and finding ways to exercise your mind and body. But in the meantime, we hope that this could be a nice distraction from everything that's going on in the world. Tonight would have been CES 61 from Twin River Casino. It was a fight card that was stacked from top to bottom with some of the best fighters around the world. We couldn't bring you that action with everything going on live at Twin River, but instead we made a promise to our fans to bring you a night of action, a night of entertainment, and we're going to do that tonight. Live here on the CES Facebook and YouTube, you can experience the rebroadcast of CES 13, titled Real Pain, from back on October 6th, 2012. This event starred WWE World Champion Dave Batista and also starred UFC veteran Dave Lazo and John Doomsday Howard, future UFC stars Calvin Kattar and Andre Soukhamthath, along with Brennan, Gregor, Rabello, and many, many others. Too many to list right now, but trust me, it is an all-star cast of fighters. Enjoy the event tonight, and you'll hear from many of the fighters that are on the card with a special message to the fans as they talk about this fight and what it did for their career. Again, on behalf of my family and the CES family, we wish to all of you out there all the safety and all the health that we can right now. Our prayers are with you all. Our hopes are with you all. Stay safe, and before you know it, we'll be back celebrating cage side again together, celebrating life and a night of fights. Stay strong, everybody. God bless.
What's going on, CES fans? This is your boy Nate the Snake Andrews, lightweight champion. Just checking in, making sure everybody's staying safe and staying home. I hope you guys enjoy this flashback of CES 13. This was a very exciting, tough fight for me. I fought a buddy of mine, Leon Davis. I was nervous to take this fight because he's a tough wrestler. But the fight was at home in my home city at the Dunkin' Donuts Center, and I couldn't miss that opportunity. So I took that risk, and it paid off. And I hope you guys enjoy the fight. Peace and stay safe.
All right, Scott, we get ready for this lightweight bout between Nate the Snake Andrews and Leon Dynamite Davis. I think there may be a little bit of bad blood here, Scott. Leon Davis, a little late arriving to the weigh-in and a little overweight once he got there, and it did not sit well with Nate Andrews. And as a fighter, I'm sure you know you bust your hump to make that weight, and the other fighter doesn't do it.
I knew that Leon was going to be late. He had car trouble, and there was a long background to that, but it's short. Wow, he came off, tapped hands. And
wow, Leon Davis comes in and just picks up Nate Andrews and slams him to the canvas in the opening second. So
he looks like he's grabbing a guillotine right off the bat, and Nate's doing a nice job defending, trying to step over to half.
Tough spot for Andrews early on in this opening round.
He's weathering it at the moment. The choke's on the opposite side. He's defending well. And you can see where Leon's trying to prevent Nate from passing. Nate did a great job in reversing that. Now they're back up to their feet.
You know, I saw Leon on the way in, and he said, I hope today goes better than yesterday. So perhaps a little motivation to come out of that corner, all guns blazing, and he took down Nate Andrews right away. But again, both fighters back on their feet here in the opening minute of round number one.
Now, Nate's looking to prevent the takedown, and this is where I was talking about Leon using his wrestling to open up his hands. You'll see as this fight continues, where the wrestling, and you have to respect the takedown. Obviously, you saw what just happened, and what just happened right now, another big slam.
Leon Davis just picking up Andrews and slamming him to the canvas the second time in the first minute and a half of this fight.
And you're going to want to see Nate Andrews turn inside and face Leon to try to take some of this pressure off. He's losing the head. He's trying to have a little bit of head control that doesn't exist. There it is. He's going to try to get head and wrist control. But Leon's in a very dominant side control position at the moment.
Leon Davis, the aggressor thus far in round number one.
but you just saw Leon try to step over Nate's arm and pin it. Nate's doing a good job of getting himself off the cage so he's not pinned into it.
You know, the action's been great thus far, and I expect an evenly matched bout. These two are almost of similar build, similar backgrounds, a lot of similarities between the two.
That matchmaker, Pat Sullivan, I think he knows what he's doing.
I think he's all right. I think he's done a nice job. We'll find out.
Wow, nice job by Leon immediately to mount. That was a quick pass. Nate's in a little bit of trouble here if he doesn't reverse it. He's trying to roll over and pass. It looks like he has the choke. The hooks are in.
Davis has that in. This could be tough.
It's really close. Nate's going to have to try 2-on-1, and he's trying desperately to relieve the choke.
Just trying to pull that arm down, and I don't know if he's going to do it.
He's got two hands on one. That's what he's doing a great job here. You see Nate Andrews, two of his hands on one of Leon's hands to negate the choke.
Great job to break out of it by Nate Andrews. That one looked dicey.
Now you're going to see Nate look to turn into Leon to try to go belly to belly here, but Leon has it looks like a body lock. I can't tell at the moment. If he has his right leg, his right foot under his left leg, and now I do see that body lock's incredibly hard to come out of, and it applies a lot of pressure to the diaphragm. Some guys will tap just from the pressure from that.
Andrews not one of them just yet, but Davis again trying to get that forearm underneath the chin. 143 to go.
Choke, you're 100% right. He's trying to roll that. You see where his right hand's covering his mouth. Totally legal.
And of course, when you commit yourself to the hold, you leave your head open, and that's what Nate Andrews is trying to take advantage of.
Nate's doing a good job of trying to have Leon not go for what he's trying to go for, trying to finish. It's very hard, though. This is a very tough position. There's plenty of time left in the round. The fighters are still relatively dry, which is a big point.
That's the biggest thing. A lot of time left, too. 1:16 to be exact.
Now you can see where Leon Davis has the mount, and he's going to throw small, short punches. Here they come, real ground and pound from the standing position now. Nate has a lot of work to do to get out from underneath this.
Yeah, we'll see if Andrews can kick out of it. He tried momentarily. Still a minute to go in round number one. Davis dominating on the ground.
Nice short elbow Davis threw right there.
Davis in complete control. Andrews just trying to get back to his feet. Looks like he's going to make it, although we could see if Davis has something locked in underneath. I don't think it's quite there.
It looks to me right now he's using that position to control the head and control basically his posture. He didn't want him to come up. Again, he saw Leon try to throw a right elbow that was blocked very well by Andrews.
Davis just relentless.
He's going to go for a ride again. Leon Davis is going to try to get both hands underneath the hips and bring him back down like he just did. He did a great job.
Third big takedown of the round for Leon Davis. We're coming up on 20 seconds to go in this opening round of this lightweight bout number 2 of the evening here at Real Pain. And of course, you are enjoying this free preview.
Preview. You folks at home are getting this for free. That's pretty amazing.
Just imagine what you get when you order for $29.95 on DirecTV. Round number 1 coming to a close. Davis again letting those hands fly. And it looks
Leon's doing a great job of controlling his hips, controlling Nate's body so as not to let him off the ground. And again, Nate's doing a fairly good job. He hasn't been submitted and hasn't taken a bunch of punishment.
I think there's a clock malfunction. I thought this round was over.
I think I just heard the 10-second clock go.
Seemed a lot longer than 5 minutes. I'm sure to Nate Andrews it seemed like 10.
Spending that much time with me, is that what it means? I get it.
Round number 1 of the books, a great round for Leon Davis as he comes out firing. Had 3 big takedowns, Scott, and really was the aggressor early on. And of course, using that wrestling skill like you alluded to in the preview for the bout.
Now you'll see where Nate's not going to have much of a choice but to respect the ability to be taken down, which is going to open up Leon's hands now.
Check out the live selection and start by diet. Located at 1460 Atwood Ave in Johnson.
Leon Davis catching his breath. Nate Andrews on the other side needs to come out a little bit stronger in round number 2. When you're only fighting 3 rounds, Scott, it's hard when you fall behind early on in the bout. It kind of puts a little sense of urgency when you go into that second round.
Most certainly. You still have 2 rounds in front of you. You don't want to do anything foolish where you're down 2 rounds to none. But you most certainly don't want to come back to your stool having the same result.
All right, round number 2, here we go. Leon Davis in the black and gold, Nate Andrews in the green and white. Both fighters opening with kicks.
Nate threw a second kick, but it left him wide open for that takedown. And you're going to see Nate grab a single. He's trying to get his arms underneath and pull straight up. You're going to see Leon Davis trying to grab that back leg and try to pull him back down. What Nate's trying to do is get underhooks in and fight this off. Right now, Nate, he has a choke. He has a choke reels. He's tapping.
He's gonna tap.
What a
That's it.
reversal.
Leon Davis taps.
Standing. Wow, a standing guillotine. He sunk in deep. It looked like a Matt Hughes choke.
Just when he thought Leon Davis was about to pick up where he left off, Nate Andrews gets in the choke, the standing guillotine. A shocking turn of events.
Well
for Nate
done,
Andrews.
young man. That was a very,
Brilliant.
very quick submission. He hit that submission very, very quickly and finished very, very quickly. When we see the replay, you'll see the torque where Nate Andrews' left elbow went from going parallel to the shoulder to the mat. And once it went down that far, fantastic. That's just the end of it.
I'll tell you what, it shows a lot of poise by Nate Andrews, because here he is thinking to himself, here we go again. Leon Davis coming in for the takedown. Check out the replay, Scott. There it is.
That's where you see Davis pushing. You can see, Andrews pushing his own hand to tighten that choke up, which in turn takes that left elbow and points it closer and closer to the cage floor.
Here's
You
the
see
other
the
angle,
twist.
yep.
It's the same choke, believe it or not, it's the same choke that John Jones used to choke out Lyoto Machida.
Wow, a fantastic finish for Nate the Snake Andrews, choking out Leon Davis in round number 2. Just when it looked like Leon Davis was about to assert his will with his wrestling ability again, Nate Andrews turns the tide and gets the victory. He improves to 2-0. Let's send it down to Bill Carpenter for the particulars.
Ladies and gentlemen, the official time of this bout is 29 seconds of round number 2. Your winner by a guillotine choke submission, Nate the Snake Andrews.
This is CES MMA.
All right, here we go. Brennan Ward in the blue trunks, Shedrick, Goodridge in the black.
Do not blink. Brennan's a phenomenally quick starter.
Absolutely. He usually comes out like a bat out of hell. We'll see how he
Sure
starts
does.
this one. Little tap of the fist. And here we go. Said it's Goodridge trying to go for that takedown.
And he got the takedown.
He gets
Well
it.
done by Shedrick. No easy task there.
Yeah, surprising beginning here to
And
see
he's
Ward.
controlling
Yeah.
very well. Brennan on his back, and he's in a tough spot where he's mounted at the moment. Didn't last very long. He's got a hook in. Shedrick has one hook in. What he wants to try to do is open him up and attack the throat.
He's got one in so far. It's pretty tight, but Ward to his feet.
Nice job turning around, and he ate the knee for his good measure on the way out.
And for a second, I thought Goodridge had it.
Again, you see Shedrick shoot underneath the jabs to try to take Brennan down.
He got a single leg takedown early. Tried to go for it again.
There's your hip toss.
There it
to the
is. We
ground.
saw so much of
right
that
to
against
mount.
Billy
You
Diekmann,
see
yeah.
Brennan go right to mount off the hip toss. Now he's isolating that left arm, and he's going to look to start raining down short punches and short elbows.
If he can get that knee over that left shoulder, Scott, like you said, it opens up an entire
A
area.
world of hurt.
A world of hurt would be the right appropriate term.
You see Brennan trying to isolate one arm, and he has good posture in mount. He needs to work, though. He needs to work from this position. Straight punches, short elbows off a crossface.
Tried to do something with a couple of elbows there, but really couldn't get anything through. Goodridge defending himself pretty well thus far as we get into the 3.5-minute mark.
You can see Shedrick's just trying to control Brennan's posture by putting his arms across his back and pulling him tight, breaks his posture, brings his head down, so he's less likely to throw powerful strikes from here. I'd like to see Brennan use a crossface and then shorten up some punches, exactly like he just did, and that breaks that grasp. Shedrick did a great job of getting out of the mount. Brennan now moves very cleanly and crisply to Shedrick's back.
You see that wrestling pedigree in almost everything Brennan Ward does.
It's true.
Now we see a little stand-up. Ward trying to work that jab. Goodridge has more of a squared-up stance.
Yeah, he's also switching ever
Yeah.
so slightly, and the reason I believe he's coming lefty is it's more advantageous on the shot for a takedown. The closer your lead leg is to your opponent's lead leg, the better opportunity you have for a takedown.
Big
what a
right
big
hand.
right hand by Brennan Ward. That's about it, boys
That's
and
going to
girls.
do it. Brennan Ward knocks out Shedrick. Goodridge.
Wow.
The big right hand caught him. Goodridge went down, could not defend himself, and Ward finishes it off with a flurry of short rights. He got him right on the chin, Scott. Tremendous knockout. And tonight we see Brennan Ward showcasing his stand-up game. Big victory for the Irish bad boy.
Fantastic job. As we said earlier, his dad's the boxing coach.
Right.
And as much as he's a phenomenal wrestler, you know, those hands were right where they were supposed to be, and it was a great punch.
Can't wait to see the replay on that one, because I'm pretty sure it caught him flush on the chin. I thought Goodridge was out momentarily. We are going to see and take a look at just how this one went down. And like you said, Scott, if you blinked, you might have missed it. Here it is.
There's a straight right hand, and that was it, right on the button. You saw Shedrick turning away. See that again? You watch Shedrick turn away and take that on the opposite side of his chin.
And a good stoppage. There are those right hands. And
now watch,
angle.
He'll turn around, and Shedrick turns away from this punch when he sees it coming. And there it goes. That's why it hit him right on the button. Had he tucked his chin a little bit, maybe it grazes the forehead, but as he turns away, the neck will only go so far before the body will turn itself off.
That's right, so he leaves the whole side of his face open on that one. He gets knocked out in round number 1. Big win for Brennan Ward, the Irish bad boy. Let's send it down to Bill Carpenter for the particulars.
Ladies and gentlemen, the end comes quickly. 2 minutes, 36 seconds of round number 1. Referee Dan Mergliotta stops the contest due to excessive unanswered strikes. Your winner by TKO, Brennan, the Irish bad boy, Ward.
This is CES MMA.
What's up, guys? Andre the Asian Sensation here, just chilling in quarantine. That's all we can do, right? I've been working on a couple projects, homeschooling my kids, and doing a lot of work around the house, you know, just trying to make this time at home worth it. But anyways, we're here to talk about the CES Real Pain event that happened in 2012 at the Dunkin' Donuts Center, and WWE superstar Batista was on it, you know, so it was a big deal. Me and my homies, my teammates, all of us were on the card, so we pushed each other to the max. We were really excited to fight at the Dunk. It was awesome. Great turnout for a lot of the guys. The fight camp was great for me. You know, the strategy worked. I had to keep him away with my jab, work the leg kicks. That's what we worked with the team. But once it hit the ground, even though my opponent was a purple belt and I was a white belt at that time, it didn't matter because the plan was to ground and pound, bash his face in, hit him in the body, hit him in the face with elbows, knees, and punches. You know, the most crazy ground and pound you can imagine, and you will see this in the fight. So I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys stay safe. 2020, I am coming. Once that cage is available, I am going to sign up, and I cannot wait to take some names again, all right? Stay safe, guys.
This is CES MMA.
3 5-minute rounds, bantamweights.
And how about that introduction for Andre Soukhamthath? He brings a ton of fans wherever he goes, and it's no exception tonight.
In case you weren't sure, that Andre's a very well-respected fighter in the region. Andre and Rob are going to have just a war. You can see it happen. Here's a nice touch of respect, and these two guys are going to come out. You can see Andre working the jab right off the bat, rear leg kick, mixing it up immediately.
Great kick to start the round by Andre Soukhamthath. Another rear leg kick.
Great. He's getting plenty of bone on the meat of that leg.
That will add up after a while. Now working the jab, and again we mentioned how he started out boxing before he actually got into mixed martial arts.
Yeah, Andre's very well versed in his striking. You know, his dad's his Muay Lao coach, another great rear leg, as you can see. And he has good straight hands, in other words, boxer's hands. And that's also why you'll see good footwork with Andre.
So far, backing up Rob Kosta, who seems to want no part of it early on.
Rob caught Andre with the short right hand on the way in. Andre returns with the rear leg. Well, you can see where Rob's throwing more looping punches. He's definitely throwing them. They're more outside looping punches. Andre's straighter punches, but those looping punches are landing, and they are slowing Andre down just a little bit.
Looking to counterpunch is Rob Kosta, as Andre is so far the aggressor early on. That big looping right hand almost connects as well. minute and a half into the opening round of this bantamweight bout.
There's a short right hand that came over off a double jab.
That one stunned Kosta. Now we'll see if Soukhamthath can work those knees.
Both men working the clinch, trying to get off the fence. And you can see Andre throwing shoulder punches into Rob's chin. Andre's trying really hard to get his arms together for the takedown while he's throwing knees to the midsection. Rob's doing a good job of getting, he has an underhook and trying to grab some wrist control here. And of course, Andre returning knees. Good cross face by Rob, trying to create some space that Andre fought off. Again, those knees to the body, pinned up against the cage. Both men had the same idea.
A simultaneous knee right there as we hit the 2-minute mark of round number 1.
Another right knee to the midsection.
Right now, Soukhamthath just has Kosta against that cage.
And you can also watch Andre's head. Andre's trying to keep his head pressed to the chin to keep Rob's head against the cage. And as you can see, the second it was moved, Rob threw him right off.
If anything, Soukhamthath's done a great job softening those legs, but he goes upstairs with that kick.
Good
Kosta
defense, but a great combination. And a great takedown by Andre.
I'll tell you what, Kosta was committed to exchanging. Soukhamthath went low and got the takedown. Great turn of events here. 2:20 to go in round number 1. We'll see what Soukhamthath can do on the ground. And the crowd loving it.
Yeah, it's what's not to love. That was a great exchange.
As a fighter, you gotta love that energy. You can really feed off that when you're inside that cage.
You see Rob working from a closed guard now. That he's opening it, but whenever he keeps his guard closed, he can't attack. That's all he can do is basically stall and defend. When you see those ankles that are crossed, that means his guard's closed. Andre doing a nice job trying to create a little bit of space for punching. You can see how Andre postures straight up, keeping his head behind his hips and not allowing Rob to get anywhere close to his head and pull him into break posture.
I'll tell you what, great job by Soukhamthath really picking his spots. Not just swinging wildly from the hip, Scott,
nice
but really
point.
waiting to see when he had an opening, and that's how he landed cleanly.
That's a very good point. Some of the nice short elbow there. Again, accuracy is everything.
Sure, some guys will whale a weight on there and it doesn't really do much, but Soukhamthath really just picking his opportunities.
Yeah, that can gas a lot of guys out, and when you're not being so precise, that's just hurting you. I'm a firm believer in less is more.
I agree. And Soukhamthath apparently lives by that same philosophy. 1 minute to go in round number 1.
I want you to take a look, Mike, at Rob's left leg. You can see how bruised and battered that is right now, just from those 3 or 4 rear legs that Andre has thrown.
And Andre did a lot of that damage standing up when he had him in the clinch against the cage as well, using those knees.
Using those knees as well,
using
fantastic.
the rare leg kicks.
But that, as you said, is going to take its toll in the next round. That leg's not going to be as strong and not want to do as much bouncing as Rob was doing.
If you get to the third round, we'll know who's going to have his legs and who won't, and it's probably going to be Andre Soukhamthath at this point.
With 30 seconds left in the round, of course, Andre doesn't know that, but he's maintained top position. He's maintained striking from here. He's controlled this round. He's controlled him on the ground. It's if this round continues this way and ends this way, I would have to lean towards Andre getting the first round here.
Absolutely. Certainly done the brunt of the damage. Closing seconds, Soukhamthath.
Nice job by Rob trying to throw up an arm bar right at the end of the round. Of course, Andre saw it and defended it.
One more good kick to the rib cage for good measure for Soukhamthath, closing out a dominant opening round. The fans loving every second of it, Scott.
Well, what's not to love? That was a great round.
Well, you see Soukhamthath, the aggressor, got that big takedown midway through the opening round, as we saw Kosta just exchanging early on, and when he sort of kept his guard up, that's when Soukhamthath went downstairs and got the takedown, and then he really controlled the round from that point forward.
I'd have to agree.
You see Soukhamthath getting some instructions from his boxing coach, David Keefe, and of course Pete Jeffrey from Triforce MMA. You can hear a little bit of what his corner's telling.
Yeah, he's basically saying that you're controlling this fight. You're setting the tempo for this fight. Continue to do so.
All right. So, and if you're Rob Kosta coming into the second round, Scott, what's your game plan?
I'm really not looking to do a whole lot different standing up. I feel like Rob did fairly well in the stand-up. Just not get caught underneath him as much. Try to keep my back off the mat.
All right, round number 2 set to begin. Rob Kosta in the white trunks, Andre Soukhamthath in the brown.
Again with the rear leg, right off the bat. You can see the bruise.
Great strategy by Soukhamthath. Sticking to the game plan. Go low, come upstairs.
Now you can see the confidence that Andre has with landing these kicks now.
That one did some damage. Kosta almost off his feet.
Yeah, he's on rubber leg. That front leg's a bit of rubber right now. You can see him limping coming across. And Andre would be well served to continue to attack that, but just disguise it. Don't come as blatantly far. Set it up.
Sure, he's got to mix things up too. You can't be too over-aggressive with those kicks, but they are working thus far.
It's just a matter of feinting a jab and coming with it. It was a great head whip, but Andre tried to reverse it over. Now, Andre tried the head whip to get Rob on his back, and it didn't work. Rob did a great job of stuffing it. Now Andre's in a position where he needs to get off his back, climb the fence.
And you see Andre made a concerted effort to do so, backing his way to the cage when he saw Kosta had the takedown. Puts him in a much better position.
Much better, so now he can, what we call wall walk or walk the cage, where you want to put your back and shoulders on it and try to get up. But you can see where Rob's doing a phenomenal job controlling those hips. Right to that point, Rob did a great job. Andre sensed where that tension wasn't anymore and just reached in, reversed it for a great takedown.
Nice job by Soukhamthath, getting to his feet and then getting the takedown on Kosta. Back to where he was toward the latter half of round number 1. We got 3.5 to go in round number 2 of this bantamweight battle. And we are closing in on the end of the free preview, Scott. So if you haven't ordered, do so as soon as possible. You don't want to miss out on this.
If I wasn't here, I would be ordering it.
Absolutely.
Andre just looks like he started past the half guard right now. Looking to both hands underneath. It looked like he was trying to attack a choke at the moment.
I thought he was for a second. I thought he might have had it too, Scott.
Short elbows, continue to soften up your opponent, and Andre's doing a good job with that. He has good position at the moment. Nice short knee to the body.
The biggest thing Andre has done is just wear Rob Kosta down.
You used the term earlier, and I'm sure we're going to use it a lot tonight, grinding, a very grinding
Absolutely.
pace.
2:45 to go, round number 2 of this bantamweight bout.
Andre again looking to slide that arm in, and Rob's defending it very well. Andre looking to attack that choke.
Soukhamthath in total control thus far. And while this may not look like much, Scott, to the naked eye, it certainly...
It adds up. It's grinding. It's hard to breathe when you're on your back and when you're taking that kind of punishment. It's definitely a fatigue issue. Again, you can see where Rob went to sit up. Andre doing a nice job. A little head control, crossface, bringing him back down. He's now elbowing him into the midsection. Short elbows to the head.
3 of 4 unanswered elbows. Kosta is feeling the effects. And there's a lot of time here left too, Scott. 2 minutes to go. Plenty of time for Andre to do something.
And you can see where,
finish.
as you had mentioned, where Andre had such an urgency to get his back to the cage, he's working very hard to keep his opponent off the cage.
And Kosta not where he wants to be. He's almost toward the center of the cage. In any event, he doesn't have his back to it.
Andre's isolating an arm here, almost in a little bit of a crucifix. He's either going to try to stuff Rob's right arm underneath his body so he can punch, or he's going to attack a key lock. Looks like he's looking for a key lock, and you can hear his corner, Pete Jeffries, yelling for the same. Andre's looking to work an Americana, it looks like, at the moment. He's trying to come around it, and Rob did a nice job defending it.
At the very least, he still keeps his mount position for the most part. That side mount here, Scott.
Exactly correct.
Work that midsection, work that rib cage.
Nice short elbows, continue to punish. There was a knee to the body.
Nice knee.
He is being relentless in grinding this out. Nice short elbows.
It's like he's almost 2 moves ahead of Rob Kosta at this point.
Rob's doing a great job of defending the attempts that have been made, but he's not doing very well to improve his position.
No, and he's not getting to his feet anytime soon.
Yeah, now you see Andre actually getting to posture up even more. Those punches come down even harder with the posture. Wow, Andre's doing a great job. I thought he had him scarfed for a second. That would have been a very advantageous position. That short elbow was right across the mouth and immediately drew blood. Nice short elbows.
Right to the shoulder blade.
Yeah, he's picking his spots very well.
He's been very patient. I got to say, a ton of poise shown thus far by Andre Soukhamthath. Very impressed with just how he's approached this fight mentally. Not even getting into how he's doing physically, which has been tremendous so far.
There's a short right elbow that opened up Rob Kosta's forehead. Another short right elbow.
Bleeding.
Stop time.
Referee Kevin McDonald stopped time. I think he's looking for the doctor. He might think this is a arterial bleed.
That is rough, and the crowd loving it too. It is lots of blood pouring from the forehead of Rob Kosta. And they're going to check this one out. This could be the end of the fight, Scott.
Absolutely. And again, you see this fighter safety. You see Kevin McDonald in there.
Good call.
First thing first, check that cut.
Ooh.
That's pretty big.
That's right above the right eye, more close toward the scalp.
I think he's going to let him continue because it's not interfering with his vision.
Not yet, anyway.
Is he going to... Oh, he is stopping the fight. Wow, that must be a very deep gash.
Andre Soukhamthath with the win. The doctor stops it because of a cut over Rob Kosta's eye, and all the punishment unleashed by Andre Soukhamthath, Scott. It all added up.
Short elbows. You know, that's the name of the game. You saw how hard Rob was fighting to get out from underneath. Sometimes when you work so desperately to get out, you leave yourself open. Andre capitalized on that immediately with a very clean, crisp, short elbow.
And you called it. You saw the elbow as it inflicted the damage, and you saw him bust wide open. And a great job by the referee to step in there too and stop that one. Big win for Andre Soukhamthath, the second knockout of his career. He's now 3-1, and for Rob Kosta, first loss of his professional career, and a tough way to lose too. Certainly not in control of the fight at that point, but there was a lot of time left. There's always a chance in that third and final round.
Of course, we saw what just happened with the Nate Andrews fight.
Exactly.
You know, a bad first round doesn't mean a bad second.
We had no idea what Nate Andrews would do coming into the second round of his fight. He turned things around. Rob Kosta certainly would have had the chance to do the same, but Andre Soukhamthath makes sure that does not happen, opening up a big gash over the eye of Rob Kosta. The referee stops the fight. Let's send it down to Bill Carpenter for the particulars.
Ladies and gentlemen, your official time is 4 minutes, 44 seconds of round number 2. Based upon the advice of the ringside physician, referee Kevin McDonald calls a halt to the contest. Your winner by TKO, Andre, the Asian Sensation, Soukhamthath.
This is CES MMA.
Oh. I hope everybody's holding up well in the quarantine. It's been a little crazy, as you can see, but it's a good time to watch.
Why I wear this hat?
Because that's a good hat. It's a good time to watch fight videos. CES, and that was a long time ago, but what a great event. That was probably, you know, hands down one of the best events CES has ever put on. So many guys in the UFC. It was unbelievable. Stay safe, everybody.
This is CES MMA.
Scott, we would be remiss if we did not congratulate Greg Rabello on the birth of his first child as well.
Everybody's having kids. Him and Andre both.
The CES baby boom. Here we go, round number 1 in the light heavyweight division. Greg Rabello in the orange
Straight
and yellow.
left hand right away by Greg.
Comes right out of the gate. Chris Guillen in the black trunks with his back pressed against that cage.
And you see Chris going very deep over Greg's chest to try to prevent this takedown while throwing elbows. Greg does find that takedown, and now he's going to pin Chris against the cage.
Big early takedown for Rabello. We'll see what he does with it. 30 seconds into round number 1. Rabello looking to snap out of it a bit. Has lost 2 of his last 3, coming off that loss to Mike Stewart in February. Hasn't fought since.
Greg right now is still maintaining back control, and Chris is doing a pretty good job of not suffering any real threat at the moment.
A lot of people forget Rabello was the number 1 ranked light heavyweight in this region for quite some time. He had won 11 consecutive bouts before he lost at Bellator to Dan Kramer.
Correct. And of course, Dan Kramer was a UFC veteran.
Yeah.
From the Tough Show, I believe.
He's certainly never been one to go into fights against easier opponents, right? He's been facing elite competition throughout. Rabello doing a nice job just controlling the pace. Again, like you said, the ground and pound.
Greg's a very strong wrestler, and as we were talking, that, you know, he did want to let his hands go, but as you saw, Chris actually, Killian, he pushed that to the ground and was looking for that takedown, and Greg's very accommodating.
Now, Scott, you talked about the heavyweights who come down in weight, keeping their power. Is there any disadvantage when you come down?
If you're not used to coming down, it can really tap your strength. It can really fatigue you. You know, remember, there's a difference between actually making weight and making weight to fight. You need to be able to fight for 3 rounds, not just make the weight.
A lot of fighters find themselves in a position where they're just training to cut the weight instead of actually training for the fight.
Your fight should be in the cage, never against the scale. Greg's doing a good job right now, you know, head control and hip control, and He has his back, and he's looking for the rear naked.
We'll see if he can get it.
He's trying to squeeze it. He's trying to push that down. And you can see where Chris Killian's trying to throw these short punches up and fight this choke off. Greg's got it pretty deep. I don't know if he could stretch him out here, if he can extend his hips. Get the hooks in and extend his hips. He should be able to finish.
He's tapping.
There's the tap.
That's going to do it. Greg Ribs Rabello with the victory. Rear naked choke in round number 1. Scotty took his time. He waited. He picked his spots. Didn't panic. And Guillen just could not fend it off in the closing seconds there. So a big win for Greg Ribs Rabello, coming off that loss to Mike Stewart in February. So Rabello now 14-4 overall. A nice victory. Really, Scott controlled the fight from the start.
Absolutely. And as we said, he started to let his hands go early. When Chris Killian pushed in for the takedown, of course, Greg's very good with that. And Greg did a great job of slowly, methodically finding the rear naked.
Well, we're going to take a look at here how this one went down. You see Rabello just on top, perfect positioning.
When Greg finally got his hooks in, and it started to extend his hips a little bit, that, of course, tightens up the choke and stretches you out a little bit and exposes the neck more, and that's when the pressure comes. It's
a real
tap on nap.
A real impressive showing for Greg Ribs Rabello. He had, to worry about fighting off some cage rust when you get back in there. That's the last thing you want to have to contend with, but that really wasn't a factor here tonight. He ends this one pretty quickly. Chris Guillen just overmatched from the start. And again, maybe the cage rust was a factor for Chris as he came in. He had quite a long layoff, Scott.
Yeah, he did. And again, he's coming down. He's fought at heavyweight before, so he looked fine coming in. He looked like he made weight. He was very active into this fight. He looked like he tried to take Greg down. So I just think Greg was the better man tonight. He had good position on the ground. He maintained that position. He didn't try desperately to force anything. He was methodical, and he did a good job.
All right, and with that, we will send it down to our ring announcer, Bill Carpenter, for the particulars.
Ladies and gentlemen, your official time, 2 minutes, 26 seconds of round number 1. Your winner by a rear naked choke submission, Greg Ribs Rabello.
This is CES MMA.
Tyler King coming to you from Boston, Massachusetts. So we'll get right into it. During the quarantine, I've been deemed essential in my job, so I haven't stopped working, luckily. I also built an apocalypse gym in my living room, so I'm using that to stay in shape and keep my sanity. So the camp leading up to the fight, Coach John Carnes really pushed the concept of accountability. We cannot let this guy off the hook. Jess McGillicott was absolutely invaluable to me, just bringing the pressure every time we trained, forcing me to keep that pressure constant, and I think it really showed in the fight itself. I had been a pro for less than 2 years, and I was fighting in a giant venue. I was able to draw on some of my previous experience in the National Football League to kind of calm myself and just go out there and bring the fight to Josh Diekmann. And he's a really tough, really experienced guy. He was one of the top heavyweights in New England, and I was able to implement my game plan and keep the pressure on him, and in the end, get my hand raised. And that was something that was really special in my mixed martial arts career. Rest of this year, I'll be participating in ADCC trials. Hopefully, they're still happening in November. After that, I'll be participating in Nogi World Championships. That'll be out in California near the end of the year. After this whole COVID-19 thing blows over, I'll hopefully be getting back in the cage at least once, maybe more times, but we will see, wherever the chips fall. So I just want to say thank you very much for watching. Just the fact that y'all care enough to watch this and relive this means the world to me. So thank you very much, and I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're all happy and healthy, and you get through this thing, and see you on the other side.
This is CES MMA.
Scott, we told our viewers on DirecTV pay-per-view, don't blink before the Brennan Ward fight, and we were right on the money. I say again, don't blink in this one.
Josh has a tendency to come out at a crazy pace, a frantic pace.
All right, we're ready to go. Round number 1, Josh Diekmann in the red, Tyler King in the black.
Josh assuming a nice short stance. You see how he's lowering his stance to stuff that takedown as Tyler's looking to clinch and throw knees. Josh did a great job. His low stance is what prevented that takedown.
Yeah, there's a lot of shuffling in those first 10 or 15 seconds. Both fighters keeping their balance.
Now Josh has his hands on Tyler's hips, trying to keep his hips off for those knees. Tyler was able to finish the takedown.
Nice takedown by Tyler King.
Josh has now recovered full guard and will try to keep his posture, keep Tyler's posture down.
At the very least, has his back toward the cage where he could walk his way back up if he is forced to do so, or if he attempts to do so.
You're going to see Josh also, yes, you're 100% right. It's more advantageous for him to try to walk that cage. Josh is looking to try to get his hips extended. He closed his guard yet again, and he's looking to, of course, control these punches.
And you and Josh Diekmann have a common opponent, Scott, Pat Schultz.
We do. We both had a very good night against Patrick. Tyler did a great job passing the half guard there.
At the time when Diekmann knocked out Schultz, he was unbeaten, so it just shows the heavy hands and the knockout ability of Josh Diekmann, rather. 2/3 of his wins have come by knockout. Not going to get one right here in this position, though, Scott. He's going to do something to get back
he's going to have
to
to fight. He's going to have to work really hard to get out from underneath Tyler. Tyler's going to start to throw these short elbows from this half guard. There is some space underneath there that you're going to see. You're going to see him try to create. You can see Tyler trying to. Looks like he's trying to bring that right foot over, which is creating space. There's a gap, and that's what Josh is using to recover guard.
King just smothering Diekmann thus far in the opening round, and now he's sort of pushing him toward the center of the ring mat.
Josh is doing pretty well defending himself. He's not taking any great punishment and not allowing Tyler to increase to a better position.
Round number 1 of 3 in the heavyweight division. So far, all Tyler King since that early takedown. Diekmann trying to work the midsection, maybe soften King up a bit.
Josh is being active off his back, so he's doing a pretty good job, and he's defending pretty well. He has the overhook right now, controlling that arm. Little head control, little head and wrist control.
King just really...
There he goes. Josh did a nice job trying to push him off, trying to get back to his feet.
King at this point just really applying the pressure, not doing a lot to punch himself out.
Oh, nice right hand off his back. Now Josh is looking like he was trying to attack the head for a second.
Trying again there. He's still, like you said, remaining active while on his back. 2:20 to go in round number 1 of this heavyweight battle.
Now these guys weighed in yesterday at 260. I guarantee you they're not 260 tonight. And
absolutely not.
280-pound man sitting on your sternum for the better part of 5 minutes.
Who played in the NFL.
Yes, rather exhausting.
Diekmann working the rib cage.
Yeah, you see, a lot of people think that's something that doesn't get a reaction, but it does. It allow Tyler to bring that arm and the elbow down and negate the crossface. You do those types of things to try to make your opponent react. Josh trying desperately to explode those hips over. Tyler looking at a head and arm triangle, and Josh did a nice job of escaping that.
Thought for a second Diekmann might turn himself over.
I think I'm trying to take a better look. I think Tyler does have full mount.
Diekmann almost came dangerously close to absorbing another low blow. I'm not sure if you saw that one, Scott. Would have been deja vu all over again.
And if Josh is not wearing a steel cup front to back after that last knee to the groin.
1:15 to go in round number 1. All Tyler King thus far. But Diekmann again doing a nice job on his back.
Tyler's controlling the fight for sure. He's active, but there's not a lot of punishment going on right now. So it's more Josh surviving this. Now finally Tyler passed, did that very well to side control, and now you're going to see him try to push the attack from this position. There's a lot of space. You see all that space. That's what Josh is going to turn back into. He should try to turn into that now.
See if King can unload some knees. He's got an opening to that rib cage.
I'd like to see Josh drop his elbow inside Tyler's hip there. He needs to continue to push that down and create some space and turn into him.
I will see who blinks first here. The closing 30 seconds of round number 1.
Josh doing a nice job.
Tyler King in that side mount, like you said.
Josh going to try to sit up and put his arm underneath his armpit. He just needs to use the opposite arm to do so.
Diekmann does look somewhat gassed here, Scott.
I don't know if I call it gas. He's definitely fatigued. He's
fighting
tired.
for breath here. He's a little bit tired, certainly.
Again, he's being smothered, so that makes all the sense in the world.
Final 10 seconds of round number 1. Tyler King in the black trunks in control thus far. Josh Diekmann in the red, fighting from his back and surviving round 1, but a good start for Tyler King.
Absolutely a good start. That's definitely a 10-9 round to Tyler. But there was very little damage done.
Right, it wasn't one of those rounds where Tyler King is unloading elbows, or in the case of Andre Soukhamthath, working the legs and just leaving Brock Kosta's legs
Exactly
like we saw in that bantamweight bout. Nothing to that extent, but more than enough to win the round, and I don't think there's any question about that. So we'll see. If you're Josh Diekmann now, you got to first avoid that takedown, I would assume, going into round number 2.
Now, you see what Josh is talking to? He's talking to Tim Burrell. Tim Burrell's his ground coach, his jiu-jitsu coach. So Timmy's going to help him if he gets in that same possession again, how to work his way out of it. Maybe something he saw or didn't see. In the same breath, you're going to see the guys from Bishop's and Tyler's corner looking to ask him to improve his position and be more active in there.
Well, if the fight does go in that direction in round number 2, we will see how Josh Diekmann responds, and we'll see if it is more of the same for Tyler King if he sticks to that game plan.
Let's see if Tyler does shoot that takedown right away again.
Or perhaps maybe throw him off guard and do the exact opposite.
Very possible.
All right, round number 2, here we go. Josh Diekmann.
I like the low stance Diekmann has.
Diekmann in the red, and Tyler King does shoot for that takedown.
Right away.
Right out of the chute. Picks
Large
up
slam
Diekmann.
here.
I'm expecting a slam at some point, and there it is.
Big slam. Josh needs to do the best he can, work his way up the back of that cage. He's laughing it off.
Tyler King had him in the air for about 30 seconds. Looked like a Dave Batista WWE move there.
I'll be honest with you, it's not that often I would imagine Josh gets any frequent flyer miles.
Diekmann, again, like you said, kind of laughing it off. Not in a disadvantageous position here. Does have his back against the cage.
He has an underhook, and he needs to work that underhook and work his way up.
We'll see if the advice from his corner comes into play here in round number 2.
Tyler's going to look to control his head, crossface, and stop him from coming up. Josh giving up his back here, but if he can get up quick and turn around, he should be okay.
He does appear to be getting to his feet, like you said, giving up his back, and there it is.
There he does. Nice job turning around. He should use his crossface here, otherwise he's going to go right back down.
Single, Tyler, single.
Josh.
Single.
You hear his corner
He yells for the single,
leg takedown.
And Tyler did a nice job responding. He is trying to apply the single. Josh needs to put some pressure on Tyler's head. Push the head down. Tyler took him right back down again.
The single leg takedown like Tyler King's corner was calling for. He was listening. 3.5 to go in round number 2. Tyler King back on top.
I would have liked to seen Josh pull Tyler's head up from that position prior to him being taken back down, so he wouldn't have been able to get that takedown so easily. But Tyler's doing a great job now just maintaining where we were the last round.
Yeah, I'm surprised as well, Scott, that he didn't try to do that, because I would think that Diekmann would want to get this fight standing up where he can let his hands go a bit, and he really didn't do the move necessary to keep it from going back down into the canvas.
What you saw, too, is the second Diekmann's thrown one punch or two, then you see Tyler, he just shoots right underneath and goes for the takedown. He doesn't look like he wants to stand and trade.
Now, certainly Diekmann's got to work on his takedown defense if he can get back to his feet before the end of this round. There is a lot of time left, just under 3 minutes. Side mount now by King.
And that was as a result of, it looked like Josh was looking for an arm bar there. Josh was looking, nice job, but Josh got the reversal on that. He works his way up. Nice job. Tyler does have underhooks. Nice knee by Diekmann. That took the legs right out from underneath him.
I think that one caught King
completely off guard.
Certainly woke him up a bit.
You see Tyler trying to step around for the trip. Josh needs to break out of this clinch and try to get himself. Nice takedown by Diekmann.
Diekmann hooks him right behind the right leg, takes him down, and now we'll see if Diekmann can do something while he is on top. Not really in a good mount, but
Josh has really good ground and pound. Excellent top game. He's doing a nice job sitting through and spinning right here.
Yeah, King just kind of squirms his way out of it.
If Josh just needs to clear those legs and work from a more stable position, Tyler did a great job of keeping him off balance and not allowing him a firm position to strike from.
2 minutes to go in round number 2. Not the kind of action we expected, but a great fight nonetheless. It's been very interesting to see this chess match at play.
Absolutely.
We'll see if that Diekmann ground and pound can...
Josh needs to get his hips forward or else he's going to keep getting pushed off. Although he's leaning over pretty well, and Tyler's eating a couple of those.
Yeah, King really absorbed 2 big overhand rights, perhaps 3 that got through.
This is a 16-fight veteran in Josh that knows what he's doing in here, and he's been down this road before. Nice job passing to half. There's a short elbow.
1:17 to go.
And a shoulder punch, creating more space. Josh is talking to him, right?
They're actually having a conversation. I wonder what's going on right there.
I don't think I want to quote what might have been said there. You see, Tyler's trying to break Josh's posture by keeping his head pulled in tight. And, of course, Josh is trying to get the complete opposite, his head up to create posture and more power in his strikes. A couple of those punches coming straight down. Josh has nice position. He needs to. Tyler's doing a great job scrambling right back to his feet. Nice job. Now Josh needs to push him off. There's a big right hand. Here it comes.
Big right. But
and a takedown by Tyler King. The heavyweights bringing it fast and furious tonight.
Great response by Tyler King. I thought for a second there he might have been dazed, and that could have been all she wrote, but King fights back and just immediately shoots in for the takedown. Surprising turn there in that exchange. But Diekmann's certainly been the aggressor in the stand-up with his hands.
Now both guys are definitely tired and gassing a bit, and if they're not working soon, I think the only thing that's going to save them is the round.
And it's about to end soon, 10 seconds, or just under 10 seconds to be exact.
Referee Kevin McDonald, I think, would have normally stood them up any other time, but the round's about to end.
Wow. Exciting second round here between the heavyweights, Josh Diekmann and Tyler King. Diekmann kind of smirking as he makes his way back to the corner.
This is what Josh Diekmann loves, and that's why he's still fighting. These are the fights that he lives for.
Well, Diekmann at least getting an opportunity, Scott, in this round to let his hands go a bit, and you saw the effects, but Tyler King standing up to it. Not a lot of heavyweights may be able to absorb that damage, but King not only absorbed it, but after that big right hand against the cage, shot right in and got the takedown again.
Well, Josh Diekmann's got 12 wins, 8 of which are knockouts.
Right.
So I think you're 1,000% correct when there's only been 4 guys that have that he's beaten that haven't been knocked out.
And I'm sure they took some shots in those fights.
I can't imagine them not doing it. Josh loves to brawl.
Well, we go into round number 3, Scott, and we've seen the first 2 rounds start out the same way. Tyler King shooting in for the takedown. Diekmann, what does he do to defend that?
What Josh has to try to do is not overcommit to his punches. He wants to punch right now. Josh is a stand-up fighter. That's what he does best. But when he overcommits to his punches, that allows Tyler, the taller man, to shoot underneath. So I think if it was me, if I was Josh, I would try to establish that jab a little bit and not overcommit to my punches.
The crowd giving both competitors a round of applause as we go to round number 3. This one's been exciting. Just like all fights. Here's
Look at this, they're calling each other out. Let's go, let's throw hands. Let's throw hands, Josh says. And Tyler fell for a second and immediately shot in. Josh should look to get right back up. Josh wants to stand and throw punches. Now he has him crucifixed. He's got both arms isolated. Tyler did a nice job of getting out of it.
Better job that time by Diekmann. He was more prepared for the takedown. And as you see, kind of reestablishes his position. Now he's the one on top and can do some ground and pound here. And he's got 4.5 minutes to do it.
Absolutely.
A couple of big overhand rights. Those hammer fists just coming down from Josh Diekmann.
Those aren't quite lunch boxes, but they're close. And of course, you're going to see Josh maintain good position. We still have plenty of time. 4 more minutes in this round. So if Josh just plays it smart, doesn't do anything, here's the sweep. That's what I was saying if Josh didn't get swept and played it smart. But now they're back up. Oh!
Deja vu in a sense, or at least reverse deja vu. Diekmann was the one who took the brunt of a low blow in his last bout. This time it's Tyler King getting the knee to the groin.
I am going to do my best Joe Rogan impression and say, we got to see that again, right? Please, can I see that again?
We'll see if Tyler King takes the time necessary, Scott. That was a factor in Josh Diekmann's last fight. You and I both thought he didn't take enough time to collect himself.
Here comes that knee. Now you're going to see Josh's head's down. He just threw. Yep.
He's always worse in slow motion.
I think we need to see that from another angle. I wasn't quite sure if his lungs came to the top of his mouth or stopped in his throat. Wow, that's a tough knee to take.
Well, here's the one thing. Tyler King is taking his time, and he may need it to recover. And you're in a fight this big, and it's really been back and forth, arguably even at a round apiece. This is a huge round. This is the whole fight right here. You cannot step back in there until you are 100% ready to go.
Now, let me say this, and all joking aside, absolutely unintentional knee.
Of course.
2 guys coming out of the clinch. Josh threw that knee.
Right. He was hoping to catch him on the way up.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, he wasn't all the way up when he caught him.
And again, the height difference is a big deal, too. You know, once Tyler starts to stand slightly up, his chest is not where it was. And so, again, as much as you don't like to see this happen in the middle of a fight, totally unintentional. Yeah, although I do like the replays.
Well, it does stall the momentum a bit, and it certainly stalls Diekmann's momentum. For Tyler King, at least a chance to get a breather.
There it is again. Do I love the gentleman doing the replays? Yes, I do.
An even more egregious angle, and here's the first angle.
The guys tap hands, and we're underway yet again.
All right, here we go. Back to the live action.
Overhand right by Diekmann. Diekmann working those body punches too. Tyler throwing
flying
knees.
knee, yeah.
That was a flying knee to the body. Again, pressuring Josh Diekmann against the cage.
Looks like he's going to try to go for that single leg again, Scott.
Yeah, Josh needs to base out and pull Tyler straight up. Get it? Well, he had the underhook to do it. Tyler's looking to go for that single. Josh needs to spread his legs out, kind of base out a little bit here.
And that's what he's
and
doing.
He's starting to do that now, but you want to rip little too
King
late.
just picks him up and slams him right back down, so King adjusting.
I'm not sure if he's got his... I looked for a second that Josh was squeezing a guillotine, but the arms weren't together, the hands weren't clenched.
Oh, back to the ground here with 3:15 to go in the third and final round in this heavyweight bout. It's been back and forth action between Josh Diekmann and Tyler King. Tyler King in the black trunks on top. What are you seeing here, Scott?
Well, actually, I'm seeing Tyler fighting for position. He's trying to find a way to posture up and throw punches. You see Josh has a good overhook to that far arm. Josh's left arm over Tyler's right, trying to prevent that. Josh doing a good job defending the punches as Tyler tries to pass. What I don't see from Josh is him trying to work to get up.
Right.
He's defending well, but he's not working to get up or threaten anything off his back right now.
And in a fight this close, he has to work his way up and try to do something to stem the tide here and turn the momentum.
That's when Josh Diekmann's at his best, is standing up. That's, of course, where he wants it to be.
I don't know of too many fighters who can win the fight in this position, and I don't think Josh Diekmann's one of them. 2:22 to go in the third and final round.
There's a little sweep that Josh looks like he's trying to get a... Tyler made a nice job passing the half.
Trying to get that side mount.
He's got side control now.
Not taking advantage.
Josh does have a far side underhook he can work here to try to get himself up. Now, if Josh can just get to his right hip and try to tuck that arm back in, he needs to be on, he's actually on the opposite hip at the moment. Couple of knees to the body off this position. Nice job by Tyler passing to mount. So what Josh is going to do right here is his best to negate this position, which is going to have to be control those punches. I'd be looking to try to buck up and break that mount.
Certainly looking a lot like round number one when Tyler King just really smothered Diekmann.
See, if Josh, now of course, is taking punches here, but Josh wants to push down on a knee and recover at least half guard. You want to try to escape this mount, and he's not doing too much to do that right now.
I got to say, I think the takedowns may very well be the difference in the fight if this goes the distance, and we are close to it, under 1 minute to go.
Yeah, right now, if this turns out to be a split decision, I wouldn't be surprised if the fight ends the way we're seeing it now.
If Diekmann can't get to his feet and do something, make one last-ditch attempt.
Josh has the ability for his underhooks right now, and he's just not attacking it. He's trying to muscle this. You have to break the mount. You have to get a hand or an elbow on the lowest point of your opponent's body, push him down and recover half.
Some ground and pound here by Tyler King. Big overhand.
And look at how strong Josh is working to go. Great ground and pound, and Josh used that to reverse him. Tyler looks like he's trying to throw up an arm bar, but too little, too late. That's the round.
And that'll do it for this fight. Tyler King raising his hands. He thinks he's the winner. The crowd does not agree. We'll see what goes down here.
I think that even the crowd might agree, but they don't like the way he won the fight.
Sure. Well, Josh Diekmann almost had one last-ditch attempt, Scott, to do something when he had Tyler King on his back, but just ran out of time in the third and final round. A very interesting fight. Back and forth action all the way.
One of the best parts about heavyweight fights is they usually don't go the distance.
It's true, and you see fighters with, 10 knockouts combined between the two of them, 8 knockouts by Josh Diekmann, knockouts in 2/3 of his wins. You almost expected this one to end early at some point, but that wasn't the case. This one actually goes the distance, believe it or not. So Josh Diekmann holding his ground toward the end. Tyler King, I think, may have pulled this one out, Scott. I do think it's close. I think the takedowns really, to me, in my eyes, were the difference.
I think they were, and it was the time that Tyler spent on top. Tyler spent a lot of time on top, maintaining position, trying to work from it.
And that's just time where Diekmann can't do anything in response, and that's the biggest thing.
Correct.
But we will see how the judges score it. Tyler King and Josh Diekmann in the heavyweight battle. Certainly all that we thought it would be. Let's go down to Bill Carpenter for the particulars.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 5-minute rounds of heavyweight action, let's go to the judges' scorecards for the decision. Judge Pat Avery has it 30-27. Dave Ginsburg scores 29-27. And Judge Wayne Lima scores 29-28. All 3 judges scoring for your winner by unanimous decision, Tyler King.
This is CES MMA.
What's up, my fellow humans? Before we take this trip down memory lane, I'd like to thank everyone on the front lines that has been battling through this pandemic to try to get us back to normalcy, our doctors and nurses and everyone going through some difficult times. Keep your head up. We will come out of this stronger on the other side. October 6, 2012, I can't believe it's been 8 years, but this fight camp leading up to the fight was the best fight camp I ever had in my entire life. I had met Batista, who took over my nutrition. He introduced me to Coach Vic, who literally saved my entire fight career and has made me part of the man who I am today. And without those 2 guys at that point in my life, I probably wouldn't be here talking to you guys about the success that I've had fighting. The fight itself pretty much went according to plan. I knew Mark Stevens was a very tough fighter. He was on the UFC Ultimate Fighter show. He did very well. And for me, it was just another fight to be able to step up and show that I belonged with some of the best fighters in the world. Like I said, I had never trained that hard before. Everything prior to that was a party, and this was the first time I took my fighting as a profession. And the only thing I regret from this fight is not finishing the fight, not getting off to a faster start, but the second and third round is pretty much everything that I imagined this fight would be. I hope that when we get out of this pandemic and things get back to normal, I am looking forward to coming back and fighting again. I've taken this time during quarantine to build myself a gym, my own little training facility, so that in 2020 and be it 2021, you will see my face smiling and jumping in that cage again and having a blast with all you guys, hopefully, and hopefully taking this another level up and another level better. So to everyone who came in and tuned in and sat down with us and watched this and took a trip down memory lane, I love you guys. And
This is CES MMA.
All right, here we go in the lightweight division. This is one of the fights that I circled on my bout sheet. I'm really interested to see how Luis Felix responds. Another tough fight for him on his resume, win, lose, or draw. And of course,
well, you saw Luis just charge the center of the cage. He wants to get busy.
A little anxious. We'll see how he comes out in round number 1. Mark Stevens in the black with the green. Luis Felix in the yellow and black trunks.
You know, both men circling to their right, staying away from their opponent's power with smart fighters.
Little feeling out process here in round number 1. Rockstar Felix kind of feigning the jab a bit.
You know, it's funny, both fighters have their left very, very low.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's intentional or that's what they're doing, but both guys are holding their hands extremely low. Luis switches to southpaw.
Stevens working those kicks early on. That one lands.
He's landed every kick he's thrown so far.
And Felix looking like he's just trying to pick a spot here. Get an idea of what Mark Stevens is trying to do.
Again, I believe that's a flying front kick, if I'm calling it correctly.
Stevens backs up nicely, then delivers the rear leg kick on the way in. Another kick. He's landed with everything thus far.
I can tell you I practice those never.
You're more of a hands guy.
A little bit. Nice, now the hands are picking up. There's a short little right hand on the clip. The guys still aren't committing to their punches, but they're throwing them. They're trying to have the other person make the mistake.
3.5 to go in round number 1. Mark Stevens, Luis Felix.
Now Luis has maintained that lefty stance, that southpaw stance.
Yeah, Stevens going upstairs a bit with some of those kicks.
And there's a rear teep from Luis, who now he switched back to right-handed. Now he's finding his distance.
Felix saying, I can do that as well, and he's showing off his legs.
Again, now you see what happens. Look at Mark Stevens switching to lefty. There's two crafty veterans just playing around here. I can do it, you can do it. I don't like the way that Stevens has his chin up. I mean, he's really exposing his chin. If Luis sees that, try to put your hands on it. Again, with the shuffling front kick. Both fighters definitely measuring, and there's the first shot. Nice quick shot by Stevens, and immediate takedown.
Felix, the first one to blink as Stevens shoots in for the takedown and gets it. He's got side control here. 2.5 to go in round number 1.
And if you're looking, you see where his knee's in his hip. Mark Stevens has one knee in Luis's hip. The knee is high up. He's going to try to get it underneath the armpit and throw those short elbows. He wants good control here. Stevens, nice job by Luis recovering to half as Stevens was looking to step over. And Luis is going to try to work the butterfly for a sweep. He just needs to sit up some more.
No, Felix not one to panic in this spot. A standout wrestler in high school.
Went right back to guard now. He's got him in full guard, which is an improvement from where he was.
He's certainly been in this position before. Again, though, so has Mark Stevens. As he gets the early jump midway through round number 1.
Stevens continues to throw nice short elbows. And here you can see Luis Felix. He has head control, and he's going to go for head and wrist control. Stevens a very explosive passing of the guy there. Now he actually has his back, and he's going to take his time and see if he can get at least one hook in. I would imagine he's going to either step over or slide under and get one hook.
Yeah, nice job by Stevens to keep Felix on the canvas.
You'll see Mark Stevens start to pull back and pull Luis back into him.
Just over a minute to go in round number 1.
There you go. There you can see Mark stepping over now, trying to get one of those hooks in. And he's going to try to do the opposite, kind of push Luis back over to take the back and sink the other over. Luis did a great job of scrambling to get back up.
He had just a second to do so before Stevens could have applied something else, but he took
Stevens
that time
got stuck in transition, which was the opening for Luis to make it out.
45 seconds to go in round number 1. Luis Rockstar Felix getting back to his feet.
Nice reverse elbow. You can never see enough of those.
And even though Stevens got that takedown, there's still time left for Rockstar Felix to do something toward the end of this round, Scott.
Stevens is working another takedown right now with you see how he has his leg wrapped around.
Yep.
He's trying to pull that leg in and get the takedown before the round ends. A nice hip toss by Luis, but Stevens definitely stuffed it. He didn't fall a victim to it.
Valiant effort by Felix.
And they both exchanging knees very well. Stevens is looking to scoop Felix up and for a takedown again, and Felix stuffs the takedown. Stevens looks like he's shooting that single. He's trying to run the single, and now he's back up to the clinch. And that's the round. I think the feeling out process is over.
Yeah, some wild swings by Felix toward the end of that opening round. Good job by Mark Stevens midway through to get that takedown. That may be the difference on the scorecards as we go into round number 2. But a good showing thus far by Mark Stevens. But Luis Rockstar Felix not panicking yet, still in this fight. Just needs to come out a little bit stronger in that second round.
Absolutely. I think, both fighters were a little tentative to start. They were both throwing a couple of unorthodox or not the norm strikes and letting the other fighter know that I can do this back and forth. If you can, I can. And it seemed like the gloves came off a little bit more the longer we got into the round. So if they start off, maybe let's call that the warm-up, and let's see what the second round brings.
Yeah, I think you put it perfectly when you said the feeling out process is over. We'll see if Rockstar Felix comes out a little bit more aggressive in the second round. There are obviously some disadvantages to just running out of your corner swinging.
Very true.
Especially against a veteran like Mark Stevens, but both fighters have been in this position before.
Well, being aggressive can also mean committing to your punches.
Sure.
As opposed to just trying to find distance to actually try to land them. Commit to your punches, bring your feet with you.
All All right, here we go. Round number 2, Rockstar Luis Felix in the black and yellow. Mark Stevens in the black with the neon green. Round number 2 of 3.
To southpaw yet again.
This one fought at the lightweight limit of 155 pounds. Nice rear leg kick. Stevens going back to the strategy that he did, or that he implemented rather, in round 1.
Rear teep to the knee. He's a little more active with his legs right now.
That one reverberated throughout the Dunkin' Donuts Center. Felix landed with that rear leg kick rather.
Now both men are working the legs a little bit more. It's funny that
trying to work the front and the rear. At least Stevens is trying to here in the first minute of this second round. Try to go upstairs, misses.
Nice inside leg kick. It kind of took the balance away from him.
I think so.
Straight left hand by Felix. That's a little short. Again, you can see Stevens throwing those leg kicks, and whether he's trying to use them to find his distance or he's actually trying to do a little damage with them is up in the air. But once he makes contact, he knows that his hands are that just a little half beat behind him. Nice straight left hand by Lewis.
If Felix can get close enough,
again with the
he
rear
can let
teep.
his hands go, but Stevens is making it difficult. When you have to be wary of those leg kicks, it's hard to close the gap.
Well, the leg kicks that Stevens are throwing are rangefinders, and it's prodding. You can see where Luis Felix is the one coming forward. And by throwing those kicks, that's keeping Stevens defensive, and Stevens, again, is throwing the kicks to keep Lewis off.
I think Felix needs to do more of what he tried to do there with the flying kick and then the overhand right. Maybe try to throw some combinations instead of just trying to get one shot in and back his way out.
And I think what you just saw there, too, is I think Mark might have just grazed Lewis with a groin shot, but ever so slightly, and the guy said, fight on. Good leg defense by Felix now.
It's tough. I think Mark Stevens is comfortable fighting at this distance, at this spacing, and I don't think Luis Felix quite is as comfortable.
You can see that punch there, that Stevens did not bring his back foot with him, and that's why he threw that right hand short. I don't know how much he was actually committing to. Vicious rear leg. I don't know if that caught Stevens flush, but it sure looked that way.
It caught him somewhat, and I think it definitely woke Stevens up. Felix followed up with the right hand that just grazed the chin.
And there's the shot. That's Lewis looks like he's trying to get that. He's got that guillotine deep. He's got a hook in. Extend those hips.
Great
Stevens has been here before.
Yep. And the follow-up by Felix.
I'd like to see another angle. His head, the top of his head's still pretty deep underneath. Lewis did a nice job of rolling him over. Nice scramble by Mark. Wow, what a great job by Stevens. Stevens now looking for a single.
Yeah, Stevens not only gets back to his feet,
but gets the takedown.
Yeah.
Luis Felix doing a good job of putting Mark on his back, or trying to anyway. He needs to free that leg. Lewis needs to free that leg. It needs to drop his hip on the back of Mark Stevens' neck and apply some pressure, stretch that leg out, and free up that leg.
Tremendous exchange here in round number 2 on DirecTV pay-per-view. Luis Felix, Mark Stevens. Second of 3 rounds, rather. A minute and a half to go.
Those small elbows to the leg, they definitely hurt. But Lewis's main concern right now, he needs to put pressure on the back of Mark Stevens' head and try to free up that leg. A little hip pressure, push in on the right side of your hip, extend that leg out as far as you can, and see if you can stretch those arms out.
I think you're really seeing the sense of urgency, too, by Luis Felix. He hasn't had a lot of chances to get close to Mark Stevens, and now he is. He can finally do something, maybe work those short elbows like you're seeing right here. Just something.
Now Lewis is actually elbowing the arm, trying to break that grip.
Just something to pick up the pace a bit at the end of this round.
And you see how smart Stevens is? He lets go of one single and tries to attack the second.
Just under a minute to go in the second round. Luis Felix in the black and gold trunks, Mark Stevens in the black with the neon green.
Oh!
Can't do that.
That looked like that knee hit exactly the top of the head before it hit the shoulder. I think the intention was to throw the knee to the shoulder,
right.
But he absolutely caught Mark Stevens in the side of the head before.
And again, that's a tough position. It's not intentional. It just so happens if a fighter moves one fraction of a second.
It's true. It's definitely not intentional, but every fighter is responsible for his actions in the cage. So.
Of course. As is the case with a groin kick, I believe Mark Stevens will get as much time as he needs to recover.
Actually,
no? Let's take a look at the replay, Scott, and see how close this is.
he doesn't have that much time. He can see a doctor. He can request, the referee, Diekmann, can request a doctor to come in to have him looked at.
Doesn't appear to be any cut. He grazed the side of the temple.
If you ask me, I bet you he's complaining about a stinger, what we call a stinger.
Okay.
The neck gets jammed. He has a burning sensation in his neck or the back of his neck. But right now, there's timeout, but I don't think he's on a recovery clock, so to speak.
Okay, doctor is in the ring checking it out, as Scott Ream has suggested. Fans got to get a bit restless, but this is part of the action. You see they're kind of checking out the neck.
Yeah, he's trying to make sure he's range of motion. He's not a pinched nerve. He's good to go.
Yeah. One more look at the replay here.
You'll see as Lewis goes to throw, he just grazed ever so slightly, but yet it's a strike, an illegal strike to the head. I didn't see if Diekmann took a point or not.
I don't think so, but we may find out at the end if this does go the distance. I think Luis Felix does not get the point deduction.
I do believe it was unintentional, and the doctor cleared Mark to fight. So again, all the power to him. Here he is. Look at him go out there and really mix it up. Spinning back fist.
Almost caught Luis Felix. He backed up quickly.
Spinning
and again,
back fist on the other side.
Another attempt. 20 seconds to go in round number 2.
I think with the Iron Fist logo in the middle of our canvas, everybody's pulling out all the kung fu moves tonight.
Dave Batista's in the house. You're going to show off a little bit on DirecTV pay-per-view.
Lewis is looking to close the distance with those hands. There they are. Nice short right hand on the counter, and that's the round.
That was a nice finish for Luis Felix. He caught him with that right short uppercut. Goes a long way in the closing seconds of a round, especially a close round like that one. All right, as we take a break here in round number 2, we're going to go live inside the locker room and take a look at UFC veteran John Doomsday Howard, a fighter that Scott Ream is quite familiar with.
I've met John once or twice. It's my pleasure to do a few rounds or half a round with him about 2 months ago.
Of course,
John, very confident, been here a million times before, and I can tell you right now he's ready for tonight's fight.
Of course, John Doomsday Howard in his last fight defeated my broadcast partner Scott Ream. Unfortunately for Scott Ream, suffered an arm injury, had to verbally tap out, but he has recovered. No more brace. He's able to wear this stunning 3-piece suit.
I am doing my very best.
Broadcast booth. I'm glad to have you back. I like seeing you in the cage. I'm certainly glad to have you back here as well. I need you to carry me along the way here.
Oh, not at all, sir. You know your business, and it was a pleasure fighting John. And that the tricep surgery came out just fine. So I'm having a blast.
We are going to see Doomsday later tonight against Brett Chisholm. That's going to be a dynamic bout. But as we move along, it's round number 3 of this lightweight bout between rockstar Luis Felix and Mark Stevens, and you see the referee giving some last-minute instructions and perhaps warnings at the same time.
He's telling the guys, let's pay better attention to this, and let's keep working. Diekmann is one of the best in the game, so this is his cage. He has full control of it at all times.
Stevens almost slipping on that logo in the center of the cage.
That was a right hook followed by a right back fist and a slashing motion that I've never seen thrown before.
We'll see if Stevens sticks to that strategy of the rear leg kicks. Looks like he's letting his hands go a little bit more here in the opening seconds of round number 3.
I believe both men realize this fight's in doubt. Nobody's winning this fight at the moment.
It is hard to say who has the upper hand. Both fighters may leave it all in the cage here in this 3rd round, and we certainly hope so for the fans watching at home on DirecTV pay-per-view.
Now you can see Mark Stevens attacking Lewis's knee. Now he's not attacking directly the knee, just above it, which is a legal strike, but it's also jamming the leg up. It's allowing Lewis not to come forward. It's a technique and a tactic that Mark Stevens has been doing the entire fight. He's trying to teep the leg, teep the knee.
Stevens shooting for that takedown.
Actually very surprised that he hit that takedown.
Yeah.
Nice job by Mark. It didn't look like that's what he was going for.
Even better job by
in the scramble, look at this. Luis Felix has his back.
And this is where Felix can do some damage.
Here comes the ground and pound. He has good position. He hasn't pinned against the cage. Nice knee. Nice knee by Lewis. Good head control. He was also very aware that the fighter was off the ground before he threw it.
Great point. Perfectly timed knees as Stevens was to his feet. You don't want to risk losing a point at this stage in the fight.
Another nice knee to the body by Luis Felix. Now he's kneeing the back of the legs.
That's a great strategy too, kneeing the back of the leg.
They all hurt. Now Mark Stevens turns into him. He's trying to go belly to belly. Look for Mark to drop here and pull that takedown.
3 minutes to go. We'll see if he can execute.
Lewis doing a great job. He has an underhook and another nice knee. Nice job by Luis Felix on that takedown. Great job.
Fly, got the takedown.
Right into side control. Now you're going to see Mark Stevens attempt to walk the cage to roll, to either roll Luis over or reverse this position. Luis needs to be aware of that, maintain good position, and start to throw some short elbows from here.
Instead, it's Stevens with that one short elbow, and there's another one.
And you can see Stevens slowly walking the cage now, trying to reverse his position.
He's got plenty of time, 2.5 to go.
Short elbows by both fighters now. There's a nice knee to the body, and Stevens walks over to reverse that. Luis looks like he's went north-south, but vicious. That was a vicious elbow. Well done, well thrown.
That one came down hard. 2:10 to go in the third and final round of this lightweight battle.
You can see Luis Felix maintaining a good crossface here, putting good pressure with the elbow to the chin and working the body. You'll see Mark try to come out from underneath it. This is one of the best fights I've seen by Luis Felix in quite some time. His cardio, a non-issue late into the third round.
Yeah.
And in the past, his cardio, it's been questioned.
Yeah, absolutely.
But tonight, he's looked very good for all 3 rounds.
Lots of blood on that canvas right over the Iron Fist logo, and it's all over the side of Mark Stevens, so somebody is bleeding. It's
one of those short elbows.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much to open up a cut, as we saw earlier when the fight was stopped. The Brennan Ward fight, excuse me, not the Brennan Ward fight, the Andre Soukhamthath fight.
More than likely, it's Luis Felix who's absorbed the blow. No,
I believe Mark Stevens is his right temple.
You're right.
That's where he's bleeding from. That's a short elbow
that came down. Yeah. Nothing dangerous enough to stop any of the action here, especially with 1 minute to go.
Most referees and doctors' concerns about blood getting into the eye from the cut and obstructing your vision, not that you actually are cut.
That one's too far to the side to be a factor.
Unless it was, you can park my car in it, they'll let it go.
44 seconds to go. Felix in control of this third round.
That was a very good crossface right now, maintaining good position. Heavy hips. He's up on his toes and not his knees. He's maintaining this position pretty well. Throwing knees to the body, and Dan Migliotta decides to stand him up.
Trying to give him 30 seconds to let the hands fly as they stand up. Luis Felix. Stevens trying the overhand right.
I think Stevens realizes that he's on the losing end of this round and needs to do something quickly. Nice up kick by Luis after that slip takedown. And look at the ground and pound by Stevens and a fantastic reversal. Great job in transition by Luis Felix. Now he's raining down those punches. Great stop, and that is the bell.
Big right hand.
Phenomenal finish.
And that may very well be the clincher for Luis Felix in the third and final round. That takedown, the reversal.
I haven't seen Luis look that good.
I'll tell you what, if anything you can say about Luis Felix, it's that he rises to the occasion in big fights. You saw that against Joey Proctor, and I think you may have very well saw it tonight here against...
I'd love to, if we have the opportunity to watch the last 10 seconds, the reversal of that takedown when Luis slipped. Fantastic job. Stevens did a great job taking him down. Looked like it might change the pace of the round. Luis immediately reversed that position and did a great job with the ground and pound.
This would be a tremendous win for Luis Felix if he can get this one on the judges' scorecard. It'd be a second win over a UFC fighter, and that goes a long way in pushing you and advancing your career.
There you go. You see Luis in trouble there. He's eating some ground and pound. Great job, guys, with the replay. Look at Luis pinches a leg, reverses it, and ends that round on top, throwing punches. Fantastic job. Again, Luis in trouble, eating these punches. He grabs the inside leg and reverses his position, and then he grounds and pounds to end. Great job. Fantastic transition. Well done by both fighters, but nice way to finish Mr. Felix.
Not only ending it throwing punches, but ending it landing. That's the big thing. Let's send it down to Bill Carpenter for the particulars.
Ladies and gentlemen, having gone the scheduled distance of 3 5-minute rounds, we'll go to the judges' scorecards for your official decision. Judge Mike Cordero scores 29-28. Judge Wayne Lima scores 29-28. And Judge Dave Ginsburg also sees the contest 29-28. All 3 judges scoring for your winner by unanimous decision, Louis Rockstar Felix.
This is CES.
I talked to a lot of featherweights in this area, even some lightweights who I won't mention by name, who all want to step in there against Saul Almeida. I don't know what it is about his style, but people want to fight him.
Well, you know, Saul hasn't finished a bunch of fights. He wins decisions. But he's also the top of the food chain. And if you really want to be involved in this sport, you want the guys at the top of the food chain. So if for no other reason that he's the top dog right now, yeah, I bet you that's got a lot to do with it. Nice left hook to the body by Kattar.
Round number 1 underway here in this featherweight battle. One of the obvious candidates for fight of the night. 2 12-2 fighters, 2 of the top-ranked featherweights in the region, rather, facing one another. And I got to give credit to both fighters for taking this fight as well. A lot of guys want to take this fight.
No, you're 100% right. Usually when you get two guys as evenly matched as this, they avoid each other for a little while. Not the case here. And again, congratulations, Pat Sullivan, for making this match happen.
Yeah, I was there ringside for Almeida's boxing debut. I was impressed with the way he let his hands fly. I did not know what to expect.
He's letting him go pretty well tonight. You see the jab, you see his short right hand come behind it. And he is a taller fighter, so establishing the jab would be a good way to keep the distance.
He's not a one-trick pony. I think he just plays to his own strengths.
Yeah, you know, he's trained with a lot of high-end folks and stuff, and he knows what he's in there to do, and no one should question. He's 12-2. Don't question the way he's been fighting. Nice combination. 1-2-1 by Saul. Kattar pushing him off.
10 of those wins coming by unanimous decision for Almeida. Like you said, doesn't finish a lot of fights. Hasn't knocked anybody out in his career. But who knows what to expect at Real Pain here on DirecTV pay-per-view. Expect the unexpected. We'll see how this one shakes out.
Anything at any time with these 4-ounce gloves, pal. Nice body shot by Kattar and return by Saul. Saul shoots in, looks for the single. Kattar's doing a pretty good job of fighting him off.
Nice job by Kattar using the cage.
Kattar looks like looks like Saul's got his back here. He's got his back standing, and
this is where Almeida becomes so dangerous.
Very dangerous. And this is where you're going to see Calvin. He's going to try to break the grip and sit and turn back into Saul Almeida. Nice job by Kattar in the exchange, and the takedown attempt by Saul, and he was reversed in transition by Mr. Kattar. Saul working from a closed guard, controlling the head, so Kattar can't posture up and throw some strikes down.
A nice job by Kattar there. Certainly, if he had any nerves about Almeida trying to take him down, he deflects that in the very first attempt by Almeida. So good job there in the opening round. 2.5 to go.
Saul's doing a very good job. Again, you can see him controlling the right arm. He has an overhook. It actually looks like he's either digging, I don't know if he's digging for a Kimura sweep here or not, but he was attacking the left arm of Calvin Kattar. Kattar's doing a good job of controlling the hips and keeping Saul flat on the mat. Saul does look like he's trying to work one hook on the inside, one butterfly. He does have a butterfly on the inside.
Interestingly enough, it seems like Kattar trying to give Almeida a taste of his own medicine here on the ground.
It's good ground and pound, and Kattar's doing a really good job of controlling those hips and not overcommitting to one thing or the other and getting reversed right here. At the same time, he's applying pressure and good strikes.
1.5 to go in this opening round. 2 of the top-ranked featherweights in the Northeast butting heads here at Real Pain, live at the Dunkin' Donuts Center.
Nice short punches by Calvin Kattar here, and Saul Almeida's having a hard time getting up off his back. He wants to either walk the fence or maybe try a sweep. It looks like he's been trying to attack that left arm of Kattar's a couple times for the sweep. Kattar, again, smart enough to and pay attention enough to let that not happen. Good short right hands to the body.
Calvin softening him up there with those overhand rights.
Yeah, he is, but you see Saul right there. He has one hook in, one butterfly in, and he tried to sweep Calvin over. Calvin did a great job of maintaining it. You also see Saul looking like he's trying to grab that Kimura for the sweep. Saul slides one of his knees in, trying to create a little bit of space here while he attacks the left arm, and Kattar did a nice job of defending it. He has a knee on the out, and we're back to our feet again.
All right, this is where Calvin Kattar likes to see the action. Standing up, We'll see if Almeida can respond. Try to throw a quick little kick. 18 seconds to go in round number 1.
Both fighters throwing their hands pretty well. Inside leg kick by Kattar and a shot by Saul that was sprawled out well by Kattar.
Nice job again by Kattar.
Kattar right back with the jab, and that's the round.
Strong opening round for Calvin Kattar in this featherweight duel. We've been waiting for this one for quite some time, not just for tonight, but for years, actually.
To the best of my knowledge, they've been trying to make this fight for 18 months, 2 years at the minimum.
And really what the problem has been is fighting at different weight classes. Not
in the
really,
schedule.
Right, not really on each other's radar until now. And credit to matchmaker Patrick Sullivan for making it happen. An exciting first round here in this featherweight battle. We have so much more in store as well, Scott. We're still going to be witnessing the pro mixed martial arts debut of Dave Bautista later on tonight.
Make sure you get his front too. Occasionally get in there. He has no power. Have you felt his power? Have you felt his power? No. No, he's felt yours. Trust me, you'll knock him out if you exchange with him.
You hear Calvin Kattar's corner saying you felt his power. There's not much there.
Well, you know, I guess, you know, he asked me, have you felt his power? And either Saul hasn't thrown it or he feels that there is not a lot of power right there.
Hasn't really thrown much. I think a lot of people do assume coming into the fight that Almeida lacks that power based on his record and based on the manner in which he wins fights.
Well, you know, I mean, I think that's maybe why he started to take up boxing, was to get a little bit more power and speed and to better work with his hands. So to his credit, you know, trying to work on wherever he feels he's lacking a little bit. But Kattar's corner and Kattar himself feel like there was no issues, not worried about the hands.
Well, we'll see how that goes, and it certainly wouldn't hurt Saul Almeida to win a boxing match by knockout and help his reputation a bit on the local scene.
Those are 2 straight hands by Saul that missed. Kattar's got good head movement right now and light in his feet. So Saul switches after missing with the hands. He finds the distance with his kicks and then brings his hands behind it. Nice combinations there.
A couple of nice overhand rights.
Switch kick.
Those 2 snuck in. Almeida trying to go to the body. Or rather, Kattar.
Kattar's now switching to southpaw to defend that straight right. Nice inside leg kick by both fighters, actually.
Yeah, Almeida a little bit more active with the leg kicks in the second round.
I think that Saul's trying to use those as rangefinders, because no sooner does he strike with the leg, makes contact, and he's bringing his hands right behind it.
Yeah, Almeida looks pretty comfortable on his feet right now, Scott.
Yeah, he's definitely never looked uncomfortable on his feet. You're 100% correct. He's fine standing there. It's just not how he finishes a fight.
Right.
You know, they all tend to be, I shouldn't say they all, in general, they tend to be on the ground via decision. Nice inside leg kick by Kattar that kind of puts Saul Almeida off balance. And the more that Saul uses his legs, it allows him to use his distance. He's the taller fighter, he's the longer fighter, so keeping Calvin Kattar at range is what Saul wants done, keeping him outside his punching range.
And Kattar's got to be careful because he has circled the cage a bit and doesn't leave you a lot of room to sprawl if Almeida shoots for a takedown.
100% correct. Either maybe he's just not worried about it. Maybe he feels like I'm fine with this.
Almeida certainly appears to be fine with it.
I think the shot is coming. I think you're going to see Saul throw a couple punches and then go right into the clinch against the cage.
We've seen so much of Almeida that we almost expected at some point.
Right. Nice job by Calvin Kattar by backing up off the cage.
Strangely enough, though, yeah, Almeida appears comfortable exchanging.
Nice exchange, both fighters.
Appears to want to exchange with Calvin Kattar as well. Maybe shed that misconception.
Nice punches on the in, and there it is. He was in so deep, so far against the cage, like you had mentioned, that Saul just, it's like dangling a piece of candy. He had to go after it.
Not much Kattar can do but just put that left arm on the cage and just try to maybe push off.
Well, what Kattar's going to do is he's going to try to stretch that leg out, not let it get pulled underneath. He's going to hit those small elbows that are going to force, as you see, Saul Almeida to give up the position he previously had. So you might see Calvin Kattar stand right up as Saul does and turn into him. There you go now, he's looking for a whizzer.
Kattar back to his feet, maybe not for long.
Saul does a great job with those long arms. You see one behind his back pinning the arm, the other in front of it.
Nice short right upstairs too by Almeida.
Absolutely.
And then he gets the takedown again.
And then the switch and transition by Kattar, the switch and transition by Saul. And here we are both in the clinch again. Body shot, nice right to the body, right to the head by Calvin Kattar.
Kattar's done a nice job defending these takedowns, Scott.
Look at these two guys working. They're both in transition, grabbing each other's back, transitioning to the other fighter's back almost as quick as the first guy happens. That's why this fight is everybody's wanted to see it. 2 12-2 fighters, 2 guys the same skill set, 2 guys at the top of the mountain right now.
And we start to get toward that part of the round, Scott, where it's tough to score, but with this much time left, you can do something to sway it one way or the other.
Yeah, we still have enough time. You know, you have over a minute left in the round where somebody can make a decisive movement one way or the other and put their name on this round. Good inside and outside leg kicks. Good use of the jab by Saul Almeida. He's really starting to work his distance better now. Nice short elbow by Calvin Kattar.
Big left and right combo though by Almeida, and now the leaping kick trying to catch him off guard. Almeida's doing a nice job letting his hands go.
Now look at that, Calvin Kattar, great job. Right uppercut to the head, right uppercut to the body. Saul answers back with the 1-2. The boys are really letting their hands go now.
It's turned into a boxing match.
It sure has.
Here at Real Pain.
And now Calvin Kattar looks to shoot the single, and he gets the takedown. Saul almost reversed that in transition. It looks like Kattar does have the position held up pretty well now in a closed guard.
How about Calvin Kattar going for the takedown? We do have some blood somewhere. It's on Almeida's chest. I believe Kattar might be cut here,
I
Scott.
think he is cut. I think that came off a straight right hand as he came in.
It looks to be a pretty good one because that blood's starting to pile up on Almeida.
Now you can see where Kattar has good hip control here. He's pinning Saul Almeida against the wall. And he's controlling Saul Almeida's arm while he was controlling his wrist to that point.
10 seconds to go in round number 2. Another exciting round in the books in this featherweight battle. Saul Almeida, Calvin Kattar.
I actually have this 2 rounds to 1 for Calvin Kattar. Excuse me, 2 rounds to none.
Well, Kattar making his way back to his corner. Let's see if we can see where that blood is coming from. It's kind of hard to see from this angle, obviously, from behind the cage, but Kattar is definitely cut. Almeida, I believe, letting his hands fly in that second round and doing some damage there. I was really impressed with Almeida's hands in his stand-up game. You just don't get used to it, but you've seen it thus far.
I think he did a good job using his range and using his reach at the end of the fight to keep Calvin Kattar at bay and make him pay. Now, when Kattar decided to come in, he was able to get in, to his credit, but he caught a couple shots, and that was because Saul was using his range very well.
So much more action to go, not only in this bout, but on this undercard, and of course tonight, the long-awaited main event with Dave Bautista making his mixed martial arts debut. Dave, of course, yeah, haven't you heard?
No.
He is the star of, well, The Man with the Iron Fist, Universal Studios picture.
That's what that
as you
comes
see
from.
across the center of that canvas. In case you haven't heard, Bautista is in the building. We're going to see some more of him later on tonight, but right now it's round number 3 in this featherweight battle. Saul Almeida in the black trunks, Calvin Kattar in the black with the red.
Saul's coming out with a nice combination ending with the head kick. I think Saul realizes he's down a couple of rounds right now.
May have to let his hands fly.
Let everything fly.
Still can't tell where that cut was coming from.
Great
Scott.
shot by Saul. It looks like it's going to come down. Yeah, I couldn't see it either from the angle we had in the corner.
Now here's an interesting turn here. If Almeida goes for the takedown, he's essentially going to submit him to win the fight, I think. It's not going to be enough to just win
unless he does a 10-8 round,
yeah.
Unless he does enough damage. There is a new scoring system in MMA, which does allow for, a freer usage of a 10-8 round. So
certainly
I guess we'll see.
tougher to get a 10-8 mostly on the ground, though, I would say.
I think you could if I kept you on the ground for the entire 5 minutes and continued to improve my position and let my hands go and was really letting some punches work. I think that's possible. I think that's very possible.
All right, first minute here of this 3rd and final round. Almeida trying to get into his comfort zone, if you will.
Yeah, well, this is where he is the most comfortable. Now it looks like Saul has some blood coming from his nose.
That would be the case. Maybe on one of those short exchanges right before they got the takedown.
Yeah, both guys let both their hands go to start the round.
Actually been more stand-up action than I anticipated in this fight.
Well, I think that's to both fighters' credit. They both realize they're good on the ground. They both realize that maybe they negate each other on the ground, and you need to fill each other out standing up.
Just over 3 minutes to go. Almeida trying to exert his will.
Saul Almeida's doing a good job of maintaining Calvin Kattar's hips in position, and it looks like Calvin is trying to look for the arm, trying to look for a way to escape from underneath Saul. He's locking down that arm right now. You might see an armbar come up. There it goes. There's that armbar. Kattar threw it right up. He isolated that arm. He needs to bring his heels to the ground. Drive his heels to the ground. He might have this. He's rolling Saul over. He's rolling Saul over. Calvin Kattar needs to bring his heels to his own bottom, to the ground. Pinch them in. Make his heels go to his own tush. And he might be able to finish this.
We'll see if he can lock it in. 2.5 minutes to go.
He's really got that arm contorted.
Will Almeida tap?
He's going to drive there. Now he's driving his heels down. You see Saul Almeida's head kind of twitch a little bit. He's contorting the side of his head and getting more hip into this.
He's definitely feeling it here, Scott. 2 minutes to go. That's
I think the only thing saving him from an armbar right now is the length of his arms. He might not be 100% locked in, elbow to the hip. Kind of how John Jones survived it. Calvin does have good control. He does have 2-on-1, both his hands on the one arm he's attacking. He does have his legs in very good position. He's pushing the hips forward.
That arm is definitely locked in, Scott.
To be honest, I really don't know what's stopping Saul so much. Maybe his thumb's in the opposite direction rather than facing the position you need.
Or possibly just a high pain threshold. 1:21 to go.
He's starting to slide the elbow out. The elbow's slowly starting to escape. He readjusts.
I think he's on.
Calvin's readjusting that now.
If he can get out of this.
Now he's really arching his back for that.
Almeida just trying to pound away at those legs.
And maybe Saul's triple jointed as well, but he looks like he's real.
And that elbow's about to pop out, Scott, I believe.
I believe the elbow is no longer, the armbar is no longer a threat.
No, not a threat, and there it is. 50 seconds to go. Almeida gets out of it.
Phenomenal job defending that armbar. Phenomenal job.
Now a chance for some ground and pound here in the closing seconds.
Well, Saul just threw a couple punches with the arm, so it's working. This is a very odd position you see here, almost.
Kattar trying to keep his head behind his back so he doesn't absorb those blows.
I think you're going to try to see Calvin Kattar reverse this. Try to turn Saul over if he can do it. 20 seconds left in the round.
Both fighters bleeding from the nose here.
Too little. It might be too little, too late for Saul. Kattar doing a good job defending himself right now. He's maintaining that posture.
And if he just holds on here, Scott, he may have the victory. Final 10 seconds.
You see Calvin's got a closed guard. Now he's starting to bring his feet to his hips, and that's the round.
And that's going to do it. Calvin Kattar, Saul Almeida, a bloody battle between two of the top-ranked featherweights in the Northeast. You see the exhaustion on the face of both competitors. What a great scene as they hug near the center of the canvas. A mutual respect for both, and I think they both expressed that before the fight and, of course, afterward. Both fighters, of course, raising their arms. It's going to be interesting to see how this one goes on the scorecards, but this one was everything we thought it would be. Back and forth at times. We saw Almeida.
Yeah, without a doubt.
His hands go at times as well. In
highly contested, close fight. I actually have it. I'd be leaning towards Calvin Kattar to tonight's fight.
I agree. It's going to be interesting to see how it shakes out. We have seen some interesting decisions in the past.
And if Saul Almeida's right arm is now 2 inches longer than his left, I can see that as well, too.
Yeah, and a great job at the end by Almeida to hang on and then
fantastic job defending that.
Yeah.
It was all I could do. I was tapping for Saul from here.
Unfortunately for Saul Almeida, he does not tap. We'll see if he is able to pull out the victory in the end. But Calvin Kattar certainly more aggressive, asserting his will more so in those first 2 rounds. And I think at some times during this fight, Calvin Kattar sort of played Almeida's strengths against him. I think Calvin Kattar did some things that I didn't expect to see him do in this fight.
I'd have to agree.
Worked to his favor. So let's see how it unfolds rather. Let's send it down to Bill Carpenter for the official score.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 hard-fought 5-minute rounds of action, let's go to the judges' scorecards for your decision. Judges Dave Ginsburg and Pat Avery both score it 30-27. Judge Mike Cordero has it 29-28. All 3 judges scoring for your winner by unanimous decision. Calvin, the Boston finisher, Kattar.
This is CES MMA.
Scott,
3 5-minute rounds.
This one's going to be fun. These two haven't taken their eyes off each other.
It was heated at the weigh-ins yesterday.
Yes, it
was. Let's just turn around and say the feeling out process might have already happened at the weigh-ins yesterday.
Here we go, round number 1. Gemayel Atkins in the black with the gold. Mike Campbell in the black trunks.
Nice rear leg kick right to the head right away from Campbell.
Great start for the Beast. Atkins has some nifty head work.
Both guys are good, working some feints and working some angles. Mike's a lefty, so he's going to keep pulling to his left. Again with the rear leg kick, straight left hand behind it. Nice counter by Atkins.
Atkins trying to go upstairs, trying to land some haymakers early on against Campbell.
Campbell came right underneath him very well. Nice to the body. Very tough kick that lefty fighter puts their rear leg in your body. That's your liver. That hurts. Nice stuff for the takedown by Campbell. Still looks like Atkins is starting to... He's switching from the double leg to a single, it looks like. He's going to make that switch. And Campbell's doing a good job of pulling his arms up all the way out. He's no longer in trouble from the takedown, and he reversed him well. A little head bump there, and they're both out. I'd like to see Campbell start there is what I'm looking for is the jab. Trying to keep that jab pumping and set distance. And at the same time, you're going to see Atkins with continued good head movement to try to work his way inside. Campbell looking to shoot that time.
Campbell thought about the takedown, almost caught a left hand on the way out. Atkins is definitely elusive, to say the least.
And he's very light in his feet, and he's comfortable, and he's relaxed in there. So, it's makes for a long night for both guys. Atkins has 10 pro fights to his credit. Again, not his first rodeo, so he's been here before.
And certainly, as we mentioned, used to fighting at heavier weight classes, coming down to 155, per the advice of trainer Greg Jackson, who told him he could be a world champion at 155 if he made the cut. And now he's trying at least to make his mark right away. And like I said earlier on, not tiptoeing in the 155, just busting through the door against Mike Campbell, taking a real tough test early on.
Again, Mike started at 170 and then dropped down to 55, and you're 100% right. Mike's top of the food chain at 155. For non-signed fighters, I'm quite sure.
2.5 to go in round number 1.
That's why CES grabbed him up as fast as they could. Attempted takedown by Atkins that was fought off very well by Campbell.
Yeah, Campbell's done a nice job fighting off those takedowns, keeping the fight standing up where he's certainly more comfortable than he would be on the ground, though his jiu-jitsu has improved recently, as has his wrestling by working with Brennan Ward, who we saw earlier tonight. Right. And that's one great fighter to learn from if you want to polish up your wrestling. 2:20 to go.
Nice inside leg kick by Campbell.
Campbell working those leg kicks efficiently in round number 1.
Double jab by Campbell as he's drifting off, followed by that head kick that has been landing. That one was partially blocked, but that has been right on the money. It's been right where it needs to be. If Atkins' hands aren't there, that's going right on his neck. So both fighters, credit to Mike for good placement and Atkins for defending it very well.
Yeah, you definitely want to see more of those jabs from Campbell to set up those kicks.
Exactly, and then you saw Atkins' head movement. Fantastic head movement right there. That's a nice little pivot off a slip. Looks like he's done some boxing of his own.
Campbell's actually expressed a desire to box professionally, which may come at some point later in his career, but for now he's in the cage.
Oh, Campbell almost walked into a rear leg kick there. There's the jab. Both fighters trading jabs, just a bit short right now. Mike Campbell throws that knee as he comes in, and 2 looping left hooks by Atkins.
Yeah, nice head movement by Campbell to get away from those shots.
And if you watch, when Campbell jabs, Atkins dumps his head down almost to allow Campbell to punch him at the top of the head. If he came back with an uppercut, if Campbell sees that, you're going to see the straight right hand left uppercut come from that. Good straight jab there, and you see Atkins slowly moving away from that jab. That's it. The object here when a left-handed fighter is fighting an orthodox fighter is you want to battle for your outside foot. Whoever has their foot outside the other fighters has the best angles.
Atkins trying to charge in after that leg kick by Campbell. Campbell's shown exceptional quickness early on. Both fighters really have, Scott.
They both have great head movement. They both have good feet. And you can see their striking is very technical. No one's throwing crazy, wild punches. They're straight punches. They're well-placed punches and kicks. A head kick of Atkins' own coming there just short.
Campbell's doing a nice job of landing that one kick and getting out of it quickly.
Absolutely.
And those points will add up. Closing seconds of round number 1. Mike the Beast Campbell, Gemayel Atkins. And right now, Scott, I think you give the edge slightly to Mike Campbell based off those leg kicks. That was really the difference.
Yeah, and again, it's definitely your prerogative as a judge, your perspective as a judge on how you score that. Rounds like those, if you told me they went to one fighter or the other, it's very hard to argue because it was such a highly contested round.
All right, now it's the lightweight class. Mike Campbell, Gemayel Atkins. Later on tonight, we're going to see Dave Bautista make his mixed martial arts debut. Dave, of course, is a 6-time WWE champion.
Is he going down to 55 too?
Probably not. Maybe plus or minus 100 pounds. And Bautista, also the star of the Universal Pictures film The Man with the Iron Fist, which comes out November 2nd in theaters worldwide. I know I'll be there day 1, and maybe you'll join me, and you'll wear the 3-piece suit again.
If you're buying, baby, I'm in.
I'll buy the popcorn. How's that?
Now, if this continues to go, never mind the night of fights, this particular fight, of course, these guys here pretty much felt each other out, touched each other up a few times, and now you'll see the pace pick up even more so than the first round, if that's possible.
I agree. I think they're going to see things get a little bit more fast-paced, if you will, in round number 2, and I expect to see Mike Campbell come out and be the aggressor early on.
Straight left hand that rocked him there a little bit. Double jab. You see Campbell's hands are really working now.
Caught a big left from Atkins.
Yes, he did. He caught a right-left combination, and he keeps moving. Campbell looking to keep that jab, keep sticking that jab.
That's the one thing. The more you stay close, the more chances you have of absorbing those counter punches.
A little more head movement for both fighters. It behooved them both.
Nice leg kick. Knocks Atkins off balance momentarily. That's been the big difference, Scott.
And you just saw right there, yep, absolutely, I have to agree. You just saw where they stepped on each other's foot. That's what happens when you have a southpaw and an orthodox fighter fighting. Those feet get tangled up. You see it in boxing all the times. Sometimes it's ruled a knockdown just because of that. You know, they right in the middle of an exchange, fighters trip over each other's foot.
That does happen a lot. And sometimes you get those accidental headbutts because of the same thing, both fighters coming in at the same time.
Exactly correct, and that's why you see where Atkins just did what you were talking about. He dropped his head to come in, and normally if a fighter stood there, you're talking about an accidental headbutt.
Atkins losing his balance, trying the high leg kick.
And Campbell very, very smart, relaxed, let him get right back up because this is where he likes to fight. He feels he's winning the fight from up here.
And so far, I agree that's been the case. A minute and a half into round number 2 of this lightweight battle.
Well, somebody needs to be more active right now, including Mike Campbell. A couple more combinations. He's throwing one punch. I'd like to see 3 or 4 punches, a 5-punch combination by either fighter right now.
I agree. I think he's certainly wary of Atkins' ability to counterpunch, which could come into play. But his jabs have definitely kept him at bay thus far. I think that's what Campbell has to stick to.
Well, if you watch Mike Campbell is snapping that jab from his hip. It's a little snap jab is what it's called. And he's right there. It is again. It's a low jab. Nice double left hand.
The big double left. Atkins now charging forward, trying to respond.
Rear leg kick. They clinch up, and Mike throws him off very well. There's the jab. Nice. That's the combination.
Nice job.
Double jab, right cross, left hook.
Mixing up both the punches and the kicks from Mike Campbell. It's been effective thus far.
That 4-punch combination was exactly what I'd like to see from either fighter more often. Straight left hand by Campbell.
The thing about Mike Campbell, he doesn't script it. He'll either sometimes come in with a jab or sometimes he'll go right to the straight left. It's hard to predict where he's going to come from when he's attacking you in the stand-up game. That's what makes him so tough to defend.
Both gentlemen, good exchange there and good head movement. And you're right, Mike. When Mike does that, it makes him very hard to defend.
2 minutes to go in round number 2.
Both those punches.
A jab catches Atkins. Yep. Campbell been very methodical thus far in this fight.
And if you watch, he's doing most of this backing up. He's totally counterpunching right here. He's trying to have Atkins overcommit to something. And to Mike's credit, he's jabbing going backwards, and then he's gone.
That's certainly how he caught Mike Medrano when they fought at Twin River in the rematch.
Exactly. Medrano came in, and actually his momentum added a lot of power to that punch that Mike threw. And Mike has a lot of power to begin with.
Just over a minute to go in round number 2. This fight has primarily been in the stand-up position. Both fighters willing to exchange, but they are picking their spots as well.
Yeah, picking their spots would definitely be a good way to put it. You know, I would prefer they didn't pot shot as much.
Sure.
Pick your spots with combinations. Pick your spots with 4 and 5 strikes to them. And when either fighter has done that, they've scored very well.
Once again, we're here live from the Dunkin' Donuts Center in Providence, Rhode Island on DirecTV pay-per-view. Real Pain presented by CES MMA in association with June Entertainment. Right
There
now
was
you're
a nice
watching,
straight right hand by Atkins.
Right now you're watching Mike the Beast Campbell, Gemayel Atkins. Campbell in the black trunks.
Nice combination. Rear leg kick, straight 1-2 for Mike Campbell.
Well, that was pretty by Mike Campbell. Great way to close it out, too. He's got 30 seconds. If he unloads here a bit, can certainly swing the momentum going into that third round.
There was another double left hand. That's something I believe is very underutilized. I'd actually, if Atkins threw a double right hand against the southpaw, it's something that's also very underutilized. I really like that double right hand against a left-handed fighter, and vice versa.
Final seconds of the second round. Mike Campbell, Gemayel Atkins. And there's the bell. And Scott, I gotta say, we talk so much about Gemayel Atkins and his head movement, but Mike Campbell's head movement's been as good, if not better, in this fight.
I gotta be honest, both of them have great head movement right now.
All right, we're gonna take a look once again, Scott, at UFC veteran John Doomsday Howard warming up in the locker room as he prepares for his bout against Brett Chisholm.
You can just see Dooms, he's nice and relaxed. There's a good rear leg kick, and yeah, good pad work with his guys. He's just doing enough to break a light sweat, couple of deep breaths, and relax.
If anybody knows how to get ready for a fight, it's a veteran like Doomsday Howard, who's been in so many big fights throughout his career. 4-3 in 7 bouts under the UFC banner, and so far 3-0 since the company released him, and looking to make his way back. One of the things that John Howard did say was that he wouldn't rush his way back in, Scott, even if he got the call tomorrow.
He's very happy here at CES.
Might
would
not
love
jump
to have
back
him.
in. Yeah. Well, we're going to see him later on tonight, but before we do, we're going to get into the third and final round of this lightweight battle between Mike the Beast Campbell from Providence, Rhode Island, and Gemayel Baby Hercules Atkins from Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, which has developed some of the best boxers in years past. And right now,
it makes you wonder why Atkins isn't the southpaw.
Interesting, right?
The final round.
Now the pace is picked up. Both fighters are exchanging really well. Nice 1-2 rear leg jab. Mike was throwing that earlier. Rear leg straight left hand. Nice job.
Atkins went down briefly, popped right back up. That one caught him by surprise.
I don't agree with that, shooting the takedown from there. Although Mike just grabbed him, he ducked underneath him and swung him around and brought him down. Looks like Campbell's got his back. He's got one hook in. He's trying to get the second. Atkins did a nice job of scrambling out, and
may have a standing guillotine. I don't know if he's got it in deep.
It's not in deep. He have his hands clenched up together, but he would look like he was going for it, Mike. You're right. Now you can see Atkins right now. He's going to go for that. He's going to go for a double leg or switch to the single. Mike might have a better grip on that. No, he's going to try to. He looked like he was trying to get a better grip on the choke, and now he's going to attack his back.
Trying to get that grip, Scott. Now, and like you said,
both fighters, nice job transitioning. As Mike was going down, he hit Atkins' back leg to transition, and Atkins did a great job of getting right back up as well.
Some nice exchanges to open the third round. And here we are now, 3:40 to go. Mike Campbell pressed against that cage. Both fighters just trying to clinch here at this point.
Right.
Campbell trying to lift that knee into the midsection of Atkins, and they're going to break it up here.
Veteran referee and Dan Magliata.
And that's what the fans want to see, too. They want to see these guys trade blows, and they'll get their chance here in the final 3.5 minutes of round number 3. Campbell flipping between the left, or rather right jab and the overhand left. Working those legs kicks, mixing everything in. He's had a strong game plan, and he's executed it from the start. And the biggest thing I'd say about Mike Campbell is he hasn't been predictable.
That is a huge benefit. When you cannot, when your your opponent can't put his finger on what you're doing next. That's a huge, huge benefit, and I don't think enough fighters do it. And that's why you mix up your hands and your feet and your knees. You know, you shoot the takedown. That's exactly what he's been doing. I might not agree with it, but it's Mikey's game plan. Nice takedown by Atkins. Campbell doing a good job trying to scramble right now as Atkins trying to pass. And it looks like Mike's got one hook in for the butterfly. Double overs, and he's going to try to sweep him with that butterfly, and he gets it.
Nice
well
job by
done,
Mike Campbell.
well done.
Back to his feet, 2.5 to go in the third and final round. Atkins had that takedown, but the glory was short-lived.
Sure was. And again, two high-level, skilled fighters like this is what's going to happen. We saw it when Saul and Kattar fought. You know, up and down, transition.
As you've noticed throughout this card here on DirecTV pay-per-view, none of the fighters overwhelmed by the moment. All veterans in the cage tonight, and they've shown it in front of a worldwide audience.
Yeah, these are the best guys you're going to find, and you can see it in the fights themselves. Hasn't been one dud tonight. There hasn't been one mismatch tonight. Again, give credit to Jimmy Birchfield and CES and matchmaker Pat Sullivan for putting together such a incredibly competitive card.
Atkins trying to punch his way out of this clinch. Campbell trying to do the same. 1.5 minutes to go in the final round. We'll see if they can get back to the center of the cage, Scott.
Spinning rear elbow. Really complicated. Michael just kind of dish-ragging. Incredible slam right there.
Picks up Atkins and just slams him to the ground.
He's got one hook in. He looks, Mike's riding his back. What he has to do is get an over-under from the top so he doesn't fall off the top of the back. Which means
like
one arm under, one arm over his shoulders.
He's got that right arm.
That's exactly
his posture. Yeah.
His left arm is underneath, almost as an underhook, so he doesn't fall off.
Yeah, he's got to get that over the top, like you said.
Now his right arm can hold the ground, or grab his own arm and lock that in around the head, and that'll allow you to hang up there. Nice short punches by Campbell. Dows the rear naked choke. He's trying to attack.
Tremendous balance by Mike Campbell.
Mike Campbell looks like he's got that rear naked. He's trying to sink it. Now he's got double hooks. Again, maintaining the over-under so he doesn't get taken down. Atkins tries to roll out of that. Campbell transitions very quickly. Atkins has 2-on-1, defending the rear naked choke very, very well. Campbell again looking to attack the back of the choke. You see him throw punches here. You see Mike throw some punches to try to loosen him up. Bringing him right back down to his back. Rear naked again. Campbell's trying very hard.
Locked in, Scott. He's got 10 seconds.
I don't know if he's going to be able to finish it in 10 seconds. And there's the punches to finish this round. Very good finish from Mike Campbell.
Atkins hangs on, but Campbell finishes strong in the third and final round, almost getting the submission. I would say an exceptional performance down the stretch by Mike the Beast Campbell.
I think that's a fantastic fight for both fighters, but you can see right there where Campbell, especially as the fight wore on, was able to impose his game plan and impose his will a lot more as the fight went on.
I think you saw Mike Campbell throw everything except the kitchen sink at Gemayel Atkins tonight.
Can you use the kitchen sink? Because he would have.
He would have if he could have. He used leg kicks. He used the jab. He used the straight left. Even tried to go for the choke at the end. He did say before the fight he wanted to get a submission at one point in his career. Doesn't get it tonight, but it looks like he's going to get his 12th win if all holds up on the scorecards. A great performance by Mike the Beast Campbell and a valiant effort by Gemayel Atkins in his debut at 155. Definitely a tough customer.
Oh, absolutely a tough customer, and maybe he's got to leave those predictions. Leave those predictions in your mind and
leave them to the big boys, right?
Not quite out your mouth. You know, and I don't know if that's my style. Some guys will say that, but it's tough thing. You put that pressure on yourself when you say that out loud to try to knock somebody out.
All right, let's send it down to Bill Carpenter for the official score.
Ladies and gentlemen, having completed the scheduled distance of 3 5-minute rounds, let's go to the scorecards for your official decision. All three judges, Pat Avery, Wayne Lima, and Dave Ginsburg, score the bout identically, 30-27, for your winner by unanimous decision, Mike the Beast Campbell.
This is CES MMA.
Hey guys, this is John Doomsday Howard, your CES middleweight champion. Always gonna be your middleweight champion, know that. You're about to watch Dave Batista's debut in 2012 in MMA. I was in the same car as him. It was an honor, and I'm so glad you're still watching this, and this is a great recap, and please enjoy.
This is CES MMA.
All right, let's go. In the middleweight division, John Doomsday Howard ready to face Brett Chisholm. Chisholm in the all-black trunks, Doomsday with the black, white, and red. Round number 1 underway.
Well, look for John to throw that overhand right a little bit as he's fighting a taller fighter. And that rear leg's going to come right there. There's his lead leg now. But you watch that rear leg, it's very quick.
I got to ask you, Scott, you fought Doomsday in August, and you had him shook up a bit. You had to have seen something in his defense or something in his strategy that you could take advantage of. If you're Brett Chisholm, what kind of advice would you give him?
You know what? We're nice left hand by John. I want to answer your question, but the fight looks like it's
right.
Doomsday threw that leg kick. Chisholm looks to try to pull a guillotine very quickly here. And now John's on top.
Nice toss by Chisholm on that one. That was very quick right out of the chute. But again,
this is where you want to apply the guillotine. This is where you go for it early because everybody's still dry. Would you just work with Chisholm? If you're Chisholm, you want to use your length. You want to use that long punch if you can do it. I'm a little taller than John, and that was working for me. The thing is it's like anything else. It's a chess game when you're in there, and who makes the wrong move 3 moves too early. You know, it doesn't even mean the wrong move right then and there. So look at John right now from a closed guard, putting down some good ground and pound.
And certainly not to suggest that Doomsday has weaknesses, but perhaps some...
Oh, all fighters do. You know, it may be a hole in their game here or there.
3.5 to go in round number 1. Doomsday Howard taking on Brett Chisholm.
You know, we all can't be Anderson Silva.
You're watching live from the Dunkin' Donuts Center on DirecTV pay-per-view. Later on tonight, Dave Bautista making his MMA debut.
Again, you see Chisholm working from a closed guard, which means that he's not going to be able to attack. He's got posture. You're going to see some swelling underneath Chisholm's left eye from some of these short punches, I'm pretty sure, when we get a better look.
Doomsday just taking his time. He's been in this position so many times before, Scott.
And there's John with the short little punches. Now, what a lot of people don't realize is because he's not super tall and doesn't have great long, there's your swelling under the eye.
It's actually a big cut as well. That blood coming down underneath the left eye of Chisholm. The referee stands him back up here.
And watch John throw that double right hand. He's going to come in with the double right hand. There's that overhand right. Nice 1-2 coming down the middle. Now the boys are throwing.
Chisholm landed a couple of shots there, Scott.
Yep, back and forth, back and forth.
And now gets the takedown. So Chisholm so far holding up pretty well.
Absolutely
against Doomsday Howard. Not overwhelmed whatsoever against the UFC veteran. 2 minutes to go in round number 1. However, you have to note there is that cut underneath the eye. Thankfully for Chisholm, not over the eye, so the blood does not get into it and obstruct his vision.
I think his vision's obstructed from the swelling. If you take another good look, if we're lucky enough to get a different camera angle.
That's a good point.
You're going to see the swelling underneath the eye start to close that left eye.
1:45 to go in this opening round.
And you can see him all relaxed. You can see how relaxed John is right here. Been here a million times before. Chisholm as well. He's not giving anything away. No one's doing anything foolish. This is the chess game. John pushing off with his feet.
Chisholm has 27 fights under his belt, so certainly not a rookie by any stretch.
No, not at all. And look at how quickly Dooms got right back up.
And here they go again, exchanging.
Great exchange. Now you see the tie plumb, and John steps it over. Now you're going to see another nice short knees by Doomsday. Left hook on the break.
Nice left hook by Doomsday. We'll see if he tries to work that left eye. They're going to stop it, I guess, to take a look.
That eye is swollen. That eye is swollen up from the bottom up, and there's very possibly could be closing the left eye. If that's what they looked at, either that or maybe it was a mouthpiece issue I didn't get to see.
Possibly. We didn't really see
it. Didn't look like they called the doctor in, so maybe it wasn't the eye that they're inquiring about. Could have been a mouthpiece or a tape issue. Nice left hook wobble Chisholm.
Yeah, Chisholm staggered a bit by that left. Under a minute to go in round number 1. Doomsday Howard against Brett Chisholm. Doomsday in the red, white, and black trunks. Chisholm in the all black.
Chisholm looking for a tie plum here, and John's smart enough to works it very well to come out of it. I'd like to, if Chisholm's holding that tie plum, but he didn't even throw a knee off, and I think he was just holding him in position.
Both fighters now in the center of the cage. 25 seconds to go. We'll see if we get one last exchange before the bell. Here we go.
There's the exchange coming. Nice right hand again by Howard. Howard went underneath, and you're going to see the takedown. He's going to run the, he'll shoot the double and run the pipe from here if he can drop under.
I thought he was going to get that takedown when Chisholm missed with the kick.
But I think that'll be the round.
That's going to do it. The closing seconds of round number 1. Brett Chisholm holding his own thus far against Doomsday Howard.
He sure is. He's pretty lumped up, though. I mean, you can see that left eye is very swollen. If we can get in on that in between rounds. Chisholm's left eye is very, very swollen.
And it happened so quickly, we never really saw it coming until he rolled over while they were on the canvas.
I think it was the double right hand that Howard threw early on. And then those constant small punches, just once something gets swollen and hit again and hit again.
And of course, Doomsday recognizing that and trying to attack that sore spot, so to speak.
So you see a little blood, you see a little swelling, you work it, it's like anything else. That's now something you want to work on. Gives you a target to aim for.
All right, 1 round in the books here. Of course, later on tonight, Dave Bautista making his MMA debut. Dave was the former 6-time WWE champion and the star of the Universal Studios film, The Man with the Iron Fist, coming out on November 2nd. So we are all waiting that one. And of course, we're waiting to see the finish of this bout as well. And so many more big fights on this undercard before we get to that main event.
We still have 2 rounds left of this.
All right. Round number 2, Brett Chisholm in the black trunks, John Doomsday Howard in the black, white, and red. Chisholm trying to flip that jab early on.
He's trying to measure and use his distance, Chisholm is, and that's what's getting John in a little bit of trouble. Nice knee is that he's keeping him off, and John's rushing in. He's got to throw his punches and bring his feet with him. Nice short. Look at those right hands. That's it. It's just like a jackhammer when he throws those, and he's still punching out of that clinch. There's a knee in the clinch.
Yeah, Doomsday landed 3 of 4 without even seeing his opponent.
You don't have to see. You know that your chin is right next to his chin and throw him not at your chin.
And he continues to land on that left eye.
And you can hear the way they're hitting. They're not slapping. Those are thudding in there.
Rolls him back against the cage. Delivers a knee. Maybe going for that single leg, Scott.
Yeah, nice knee on the inside. John went immediately to double underhooks, and Chisholm's trying to pummel back out.
Perhaps Doomsday turning the corner here, maybe asserting his will.
Now that is a very interesting kick. He's using his heel, stepping around his heel. Oh, nice punches on the exchange.
Came out of the clinch, yeah, he delivered that left.
With those right straight left hook.
Chisholm back to the jab.
Now you're starting to see Chisholm's face close up there. That left eye is really getting quite black and blue and bleeding.
Not pretty from any angle, that's for sure.
Nice job by John, slipping both punches in an exchange, left and a right.
And that
Chisholm
right
throws it right back.
Yeah.
Double jab, right cross by Howard, double right cross, really working.
Chisholm staying on his feet from the punches, gets taken down instead by Doomsday. Brett Chisholm, he's hanging in there.
That left eye is very closed right now. Yeah. I would not be surprised if they stopped to check on it.
You see as we zoom in.
Yeah, that's a very close. But John's going to target that eye with punches, and he should throw short elbows. 1 or 2 short elbows will wrap that up. If you can make contact with that eye.
Certainly part of the game plan. With
he's
2:50
punching.
To go. Yeah.
He's throwing those short punches from there, and now he's going to get swept far. John needs to readjust his game and go from punches to elbows.
Chisholm trying to work those overhand rights to the top of the head.
It's like
short
reverse
elbows.
hammer fist and short elbows. Now John's going to stand up and throw some of his own right back. And you can hear Chisholm talking to Howard, telling him, come on, come on.
The eye now bleeding worse than it was originally. First it was just closed, now the blood is really flowing from that cut.
It'll continue to swell at a rapid pace, even if it's leaking blood from that spot. Skin's very thin when you underneath your eye like that orbital bone area.
Especially when you've been around the block like Brett Chisholm has throughout his career. 27 pro fights.
Got a little scar tissue there, maybe.
Yep, Doomsday in his 15th pro fight. Just dominating here in the second round, really taking advantage of that cut. And oh, there it is. He's just pounding on it now. And that's going to be
That's the end of it.
Good stoppage. John Doomsday Howard with the traditional backflip as he wins his 4th consecutive bout. A victory for Doomsday over Brett Chisholm. A hard-fought battle. Chisholm came out strong early, really held his own, but that cut was too much, and the referee wisely stepped in and stopped that bout. A great finish for John Doomsday Howard.
Sure was.
And I love the backflip.
He does it all the time. He's very good at it, too. Very athletic.
So John Doomsday Howard now 18-7 with his 7th career knockout, 4th consecutive win overall. And the gentleman that he is going over to Brett Chisholm, hugging both Chisholm and his cornerman.
Well, that's Matt Santos. Matt's a local guy who's coming over to help Chisholm because he didn't have a corner.
That's right. I almost didn't recognize Matt Santos for a second. I apologize, Matt. Here is the finish, Scott.
Well, once you put a little more contact on that eye, like we said, you hit it once or twice, the pain's too much, the swelling.
He used that left hand to sort of pull away his hand, Chisholm's defense, and then just...
Yeah, he throws those short punches. Yeah. He also covered his mouth with his left hand. Makes it very hard to breathe, and in a panic, you move your head from side to side if you can't physically remove the hand, and John knows what he's doing.
Well, you can say that again. Let's send it down to Bill Carpenter for the particulars.
Ladies and gentlemen, the bout comes to an end at 3 minutes and 31 seconds of the second round. Keith Peterson calls a halt to the action. Your winner by TKO, John Doomsday Howard.
Impressive fight, John Doomsday Howard. How's it going?
Good, man. How you doing, man?
Doing good. Great fight. Very impressive. 4th win in a row. 3rd guy you finish. Tell me about the fight. Tell me what you want to do next.
I don't know, man. People ask me when I go back to the UFC. I'm still deciding, but CES is the next best thing to UFC. CES been a good show. Look at this. For the crowd. Thank you for having me. You're awesome. Holy crap.
When you started to see how swollen his eye was that kind of the turn of the fight? Did you get more confident when that happened?
Yeah, I knew he was blind, man, so I kept faking and having guessing it. Then when he second guessed it, I just kept hitting the eye. I know it was gonna hurt, and I just kept going with it. But man, great man. I can't pronounce your name. Good fight, man. I'm proud of you, guys. Thank you. Grab your Doomsday shirt at Second Punch. Y Crew, thank you. Crew John, Nick, Neto, cause my black belt, BU, all the schools I train with you. Thank you so much. And Joe, my teammates. Thank you too.
All right, congrats, June.
This is CES MMA.
All right, Chris McNally in the black and white trunks, Lazo in the black and red. Big step up in competition for Chris McNally in this fight. Let's see what he's made of against Dave the Crow, a UFC veteran of several fights, of course, fighting Rich Franklin for the middleweight title in 2006. Here we go, round number 1.
You see feints right away from Dave, and it looks like McNally's just kind of standing still.
A little bit of a feeling out process, and certainly McNally wants to see what he's up against.
There we go. Now McNally, I guess maybe that was just a ploy on his part to see what was going on, but nice little left hook by Lazo. Nice knee on the exchange there. Nice knee in the clinch by McNally.
This is the first fight in quite some time for Lazo. A knee injury kept him out of the cage for more than a year, so we'll see if he maybe tries to shake off some of the rust early before he really goes in on McNally.
He went back to the UFC for a brief period, and then he hurt that knee, and that's what kept him on the sidelines for so long. And it looks like McNally's looking to try to drop in a guillotine. I think Lazo's identifying that and and defending it pretty well.
And like any fighter who's been to the UFC before and has tasted success, or has been to that big stage, he certainly wants to get back. knows time is working against him, but he says he plans on fighting for another 6 years with the way he keeps himself in shape and the way he lives his life, and it's certainly possible.
I won't argue with him. I was 44.
3.5 to go in round number 1.
Still looking, it looks like McNally's still more controlling the head than actually trying to apply a guillotine, but he's working it, and Lazo's got his hands. You can see where Lazo has his hands on his knees, and he's pushing them off. That's to protect the knees. He's just using the weight now. McNally's using that weight, trying to pull down Dave Lazo. Dave's been here before.
Now trying to take his back.
He has his back very well, and he's going to start a little ground and pound.
Here comes some short left hands. Dave, dropping the fists on the other side of the head.
It's a reverse hammer fist. You want to see Dave's going to put 2 hands on one, defend the choke. Immediately McNally's doing very well with hooks in, trying to defend the back, and Lazo making the turnaround.
Nice job
and he
by
does
Lazo.
reverse him very, very well.
Now for a second, I thought McNally might have had a chance, but he never really was able to get that choke, and Lazo defending it perfectly from the start.
Some guys go hooks first, then the choke. I don't believe, I like to go choke first, and then try to get the hooks in. But, 6 of one, half dozen of the other. It depends on, you need them both to finish most of the time.
McNally trying to pin, Lazo trying
Nice
to pin those shoulders down. I think that might have busted him open.
That opened him up.
Yeah, it opened him up pretty bad.
Hard. That was a nasty elbow.
McNally bleeding profusely onto the canvas.
That might just end this fight. Is it smack dab in the middle of his forehead as well?
It definitely is.
A vicious, vicious right elbow by Lazo.
Well, Scott, as we saw, he pinned both shoulders back, had him wide open and delivered, and that busted McNally open pretty quickly. Ringside physician taking a look. This may not last much longer.
He's going to take a look underneath right now and see what it looks like.
That's it. They're waving it off. A victory for Dave the Crow Lazo in his Providence, Rhode Island debut, improving to 21-10. A nasty cut right smack dab in the middle of the forehead.
Cannot wait to see that on replay, and I'm sure Joe Lozon's going to talk to him about it, but I'd love to see that elbow. He had good position in the guard, and he started to posture, and he was nice and smooth about it, very calm, cool, and collected, and then dropped a vicious right elbow.
Just the perfect strike by Dave Lazo at the perfect time, and it bust open Chris McNally pretty bad. It's a tough finish for McNally. He came in here, looked pretty good early on. He was doing a nice job. He got him on the ground. He got him on the canvas.
He was very competitive up until that point.
But you saw where the veteran experience takes over for Lazo, never panicking at any point.
Absolutely.
Now going over to console McNally. A tough break for him as he comes in all the way from Charleston, South Carolina.
It's also the veteran is the person who has incredible accuracy with his strikes. He's not flailing anymore. It's quite a big deal. Having the experience makes a big difference.
All right, let's send it down to Bill Carpenter for the particulars.
Ladies and gentlemen, your official time, 2 minutes, 30 seconds of the first round. Based upon the advice of the ringside physician, Kevin McDonald, stops the bout. Your winner by TKO, David the Crow Lazo.
I think we'll have Joe.
What's up, David? Congratulations on a big win.
What's up, man?
I've been a big fan for a long time, the way you throw those elbows from the guard. And, is that something you work on a lot? Or was that the game plan usually when you end up on top?
For personal reasons, I stopped throwing elbows for years. But the people asked for the elbows, so I brought the people's elbows back.
All kinds of pro wrestling stuff going on tonight. Great fight, great win. Anyone you want to thank?
I want to thank all my sponsors, all my friends, everybody back in Montreal that helped me out. TriStar Jen Faraz Zahabi, Mark Colangelo from Gracie Baja, Montreal. I got Rick Hahn right here that came down with me. Jonathan Chamber got me in such a good shape. Jonathan Chamberberg, I love you, man. There's so many people. I don't want to forget anyone, but everybody. Howard Grant, my boxing coach. Montreal Wrestling Club. I have so many people that have my back. Everybody on Twitter. I saw all these messages. Thank you guys so much. It's hard for me to make it out here, I battle anxiety a lot, but, I fought through it,
Great fight, and congratulations.
Well, Dave Lazo, a true professional, a big friend of Dave Bautista, and with the wrestling reference, the people's elbow, channeling his inner Dwayne Johnson there. And, of course, you saw the great finish against Chris McNally, a tough break for McNally, but it goes down as a victory for the Crow.
Now, ladies and gentlemen,
21-10.
Following the main...
is CES MMA.
My heart's racing and I'm ready. I'm throwing my fist cause my pace will leave you sweaty. And knowing you miss, my knots cut like a machete. It's blowing the kids, your rock seeing all confetti in your vision and ish. Your lips swelling and they're bleeding. You never felt the beating as I wanted to shout. The police a demon I'm feeding, he's always eating. Smack, crack, blood and heavy breathing. Chewing on my fists like back when you were teething.
Featuring tonight's main event, Dave Batista versus Vince Lucero.
An absolute physical specimen, Scott, a former bodybuilder, and of course a veteran of more than 300 bouts in the World Wrestling Entertainment venue, including here in Providence 3 years ago. The brass body indeed, he clocked in at 265 yesterday on the dot, all muscle. You see him getting some last-minute instructions outside the cage.
There was a joke yesterday when he weighed in that everybody was looking for the body fat, so somebody owes Dave Batista body fat because he had none yesterday.
Well, conditioning has never been a problem for Bautista, and it certainly wasn't leading up to this fight. He has worked incredibly hard. He's told various media outlets throughout this process that this has been the hardest thing he's ever done to prepare for this bout.
That's I have to be honest, anytime somebody ever tries to do what we do in our sport, coming from anything else, you hear the same thing. This sport, bar none, is the hardest to train for, the most physically demanding. And for many, many different reasons. Not only the physical contact and what you ask your body to do, but the continuous pounding, not just with your heels like a boxer, continuous bag work and sparring sessions, but now you're grappling and getting picked up and dropped. And it's when he says that this is the hardest thing he's ever done, I believe the man.
And he's gotten some great training along the way. He's 43 years of age. He opened up his own Gracie Jiu-Jitsu gym in Tampa, training with Josh Rafferty, who was a contestant on the debut season of The Ultimate Fighter. So he's got the right people in his ear. Whether he applies it inside the cage tonight against a veteran of 44 MMA fights remains to be seen. That's going to be the big question as Dave Bautista makes this highly anticipated mixed martial arts debut. And here we go. Here is the tail of the tape. Dave Bautista, 265.5 coming in out of Tampa, Florida. Vince Lucero, 22-22, 300 pounds on the dot from Kattar Andre, Arizona. Let's send it down to Bill Carpenter for the official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jimmy Birchfield's Classic Entertainment and Sports in association with June Entertainment and 401 Entertainment presents your Real Pain main event. Tonight's main event is sanctioned by the Rhode Island Department of Business Regulation, Division of Commercial Licensing, Racing and Athletics. Paul McGreevy, Director, Maria D'Alessandro, Deputy Director, and Christina Tobias, Chief Licensing Examiner, Racing and Athletics. And now, it's time for another classic main event. Tonight's main event is presented by the Universal Pictures film, The Man with the Iron Fist. Our main event is scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds in the heavyweight division. Once the bell sounds, the third man in the cage in charge of all the action is your referee, Dan Mergliotta. And now, introducing the principals. First, to my left, fighting out of the blue corner, this heavyweight weighed in at 300 pounds, representing Jab Fitness. This MMA veteran claims 22 professional wins from Casa Grande, Arizona. Here is Vince El Maro Lucero. His opponent across the cage to my right, fighting out of the red corner. He tipped the scales at a fit and ready 265.5 pounds, representing Gracie Fighter Tampa. This former 6-time WWE World Champion trains in Tampa, Florida tonight, making his professional MMA debut. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Dave Brass Body Batista. 3 5-minute rounds in our main event, heavyweights.
All right, Scott, here it is. It's finally here, the long-awaited mixed martial arts debut of Dave, the Animal Bautista. No easy task taking on the veteran Vince Lucero. 44 fights under his belt. And what a specimen Dave Batista is. Former bodybuilder, actor.
And now he looks to try his hat in MMA, and he's been training, and here we go.
There it is, round number 1.
These boys are squaring off. Batista's got his hands up high. Short right hand.
Lucero comes in right away with the right hand, and another right.
Another right
He
hand.
lands 2 big rights.
He's landed 2 or 3 big rights.
Batista with the knee.
A third, a fourth.
Lucero just letting it
Body
all
shot
hang out.
over the top. He's doing exactly what you would expect somebody who took a fight on short notice to do.
Exactly. Go
React
in there
very
and just leave it
quickly.
all out. Yep.
Whatever you have, you throw. Now Batista's doing a really good job. Overhook. Stop talking and fight was what was instructed by the official Dan Magliotta.
Interesting. Batista certainly needs to shore up the defense a bit. He caught 2 big right hands early on, and here he is with his back pressed against the cage. Lucero trying to use his force.
If you can tell, though, Dan Magliotta can't see it, but Vince is actually holding the cage underneath. Now he's letting go. Now he's got the right hand free, and they're throwing on the exchange.
Here we go.
Here we go.
The center of the canvas.
Straight left hand, another left hand.
Big right and left by Lucero. He's landing.
Right leg kick.
Another big left hand from Lucero.
Batista needs to throw his hands. He's throwing great kicks. There's a right hand by Batista. Rear teep by Batista and a right hand counter by Vince. Left hook, right cross. Another left hook, right cross. Batista looks to clinch up. Vince is using a crossface to try to keep Batista from pulling him in too tight.
You know, Batista's certainly leaving himself open for these shots, Scott. He's walking right into these left and rights from Lucero.
And he's walking through them, so I guess there's a little bit of both.
You gotta wonder if Lucero can really hurt him if he catches him on the chin.
I think that anybody can be hurt at this weight with these short gloves, but let's also realize that what the man did in the WWE, he's used to getting some shots. He's used to a little bit of live stuff. So, and of course, in training, I'm sure he's used to a hell of a lot of live stuff.
Batista now working that knee to the midsection. He got one off big.
Nice elbow by Batista that just missed. Now Vince reverses on the clinch and pins Batista to the cage.
And Lucero just flipped it around nicely and pressed him right back.
And Vince is waving to the crowd as this is happening.
He's loving it. I mean, this is the show of a lifetime, and Lucero is soaking it up. And they're going to break this one up wisely.
Baptista needs to get his hands up, and Dave now switches to a lefty stance.
Interestingly enough,
he shoots right in for the takedown, and he gets it.
Big takedown by Dave Batista. We were waiting to see if he had that in his arsenal.
Well, we expected it as well. Now he's stepping over, bringing his right knee to try to pin down Vince's arm, and this is where Vince could be in a lot of trouble.
And we'll see if all that training at Gracie Jiu-Jitsu has paid off in Tampa.
Well, Dave's looking to isolate both arms and then rain down punches, I guarantee you. Now his balance is slightly off.
Dropping that hammer fist down on Lucero.
40 professional fights at heavyweight. He's been here before. And now Dave Batista gas mount. He looks like he's going to get the back. This is a very big guy. He might not try the back mount.
It's tough to wrap your arms around. It could be too much on the girth.
Yeah. Dave might think about staying in side control here. There's a lot of girth he's giving up.
Big right
good
hands.
Good right hands, good punches. Vince is working to defend. Batista is trying to flatten him out, and he does have good. He's doing a really good job. He has him on mount, but from the side. So maybe where the girth doesn't come into as much. You can see where the knees aren't on the ground.
Landing some left hands now.
Dan Magliotta really right up in this to see what's going on.
He's got that left arm under.
He has it under his neck. It looks like he's going to try to go for a rear naked, but no, he lost that. Now he's throwing punches. A couple of those to the back of the head.
Has to answer. These punches are coming in from both sides.
He's going to stop the fight if this keeps up.
This might not last much longer.
Maybe 2 or 3 more punches. That'll be it.
And Dave, the Animal Batista, wins his mixed martial arts debut. The official stops the bout with just under a minute to go. And Batista throwing some taunts at Lucero.
Why was he upset?
I'm not quite sure.
Did I miss something?
We might find out afterward, but Dave Batista does win in his mixed martial arts debut, and Lucero kind of shot back at him. He has some choice words for him in the end. I'm not sure what went on in the exchange on the canvas. maybe not happy with some of the showmanship by Lucero when he had his back against the cage. I'm not quite sure.
I don't know if it was that, if he even saw it. I think we're missing something here, and I'm not quite sure what it is.
Wow, Lucero.
Wow, they're both going back and forth at each other
now. Batista, this is turning into a WWE event, sort of. But Batista with his arms raised in victory. The crowd not too happy with it, Scott.
No, not at all. I'm not quite sure why Dave's upset over something. I didn't see it.
Well,
if there's a replay, I don't even know where to rewind it to.
We'll find out.
Maybe Joe Lozon, when he does his post-fight interview, we'll have a better understanding.
We will certainly find out from Joe Lozon afterward what went down to spark the exchange between Vince Lucero and Dave Bautista. In any event, it's a victory for Batista. Let's send it down to Bill Carpenter for the particulars.
Ladies and gentlemen, your official time, 4 minutes, 5 seconds of the first round. Referee Dan Muraliata stops the bout due to excessive unanswered strikes. Your winner by TKO, Dave Brass Body Batista.
Well, a much better exchange at the end. Let's send it down to Joe Lozon for the official post-fight interview.
So what do you think of your first MMA fight? How'd it go compared to how you expected?
I think my nerves got the best of me a little bit. He hits like a fucking horse. He rocked me, and I was just, I didn't have my legs under me coming out. I was just so nervous. But once it took me a little bit to get my composure because I was just rocked.
So when do you think you want to fight again? You know, something you want to do right away, or wait a little bit, or what are you thinking?
No, I want to fight again, for sure. I think, it was a matter of getting this first one out of the way. I mean, the guys will tell you I was just so nervous, I had so many butterflies coming out. But, I think it got the best of me a little bit.
I think you handled butterflies pretty well.
I'm better than I showed tonight.
I think you handled butterflies pretty well. I think you showed, a lot of skill, and, congratulations.
Thank you. I want to, first of all, bear with me because I waited a long time for this interview. I want to thank my team because, regardless of whether this win or not, this win's really insufficient. It doesn't really matter because, Vince wasn't even the guy I signed up to fight anyway. But obviously he's a vet. He knew what he was doing. He wasn't nervous. But my team, my accomplishment was in my camp because I believe I gained the respect of my team. So I want to thank my team. Josh Rafferty, my head coach. Kattar Andre, my jiu-jitsu coach. Rob Radford, my boxing and conditioning coach. Eric Alberish, my wrestling coach. And Ricky Montiel, my sports psychologist. And my training partners. I had the best training partners in the world for this camp. Starting with Chili Dog Willis, Alex Stonauer, Big Harry Smith, Big Pretty Boy Kyle Rasmussen, and my main man, who's going to beat the hell out of Anderson Silva next week, the American cyclist, Stephen Bonner. I wish you were here. Oh, my dog, Justin McCauley. Thank you, baby. Thank you for all the inspiration.
All right, Dave Bautista victorious in his mixed martial arts debut, the long-awaited mixed martial arts debut. And here is the replay as you see Bautista just raining down punches, Scott.
Yeah, he has his underhooks in. He's doing the ground and pound, and he's not responding to it. So, of course, they're going to stop the fight. And to Dave's credit, he did get mount, and he did very well on the takedown. I don't know what this transaction is. I didn't see it.
No.
I'm not quite sure what this exchange means. I think maybe he was complaining about getting punched in the back of the head a few times. But, that's just what I saw with Vince pointing to the back of his head. So, a successful debut for Dave Bautista in MMA.